I lived on this block, and the neighborhood was a community. That presence of being conscious and aware and smart was cool. I fell in love with hip hop. It was a possession, like I got possessed, like one of them Exorcist movies or some shit. Hip hop jumped into my body and never left. It changed the narrative and the conversation piece amongst us as kids. Now you gotta learn these raps. This was the cool thing. When the block parties was happening in the neighborhood, these was the records that was getting the most burned. It was the fiending, the desire that was just hunger that just continued to grow. It turned me into a junkie for this shit. At that time, Dr. Dre was super lit in the street. We go up to the stage, and y'all give us 5 minutes. And they was like, yo, y'all need to come and meet us at Spectrum City Studios. Let's have us a meeting. So we get over there. On the bulletin board, they got these group names: True Mathematics and the Invisible Empire, Funky Frank and the Street Force, Young Black Teenagers, Leaders of the New School, as another group.
This is on the wall?
And so they didn't even have the artists. They just had the concepts, some wild mad scientist shit, because this is when it got real. Being in your 20s, the ascension that was starting to happen, it just kept getting crazier and crazier. You just had a child and you got 3 women that's pregnant at the same time. Yeah. I'm fucking losing my shit. I don't think a lot of people realize the pain that was being caused for me. Whether the tears is from anger or the tears from sorrow, bro, I don't hold my tears, bro. There's a lot of shit people getting from this conversation I've never articulated in any other conversation that I've had about this before. This ain't no interview, this is a conversation with my fucking brother.
Yes, sir.
For 19 years, we didn't speak behind all of this shit that I'm sharing with y'all now. 19 years. I'm seeing peers that came after me getting shit before me. The only thing left for me to do at this point is swallow the gunpowder and a match on some Daffy Duck shit, blow myself up, let y'all niggas watch my spirit float away before y'all give me my motherfucking flowers.
Alrighty. I've been waiting on this one. Bus.
Come on, Big. You know what we do when we get together, brother.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
This is celebration time too, man.
Yeah, King.
I mean, we here. Bro, as E40 once told me, man, veteran and relevant at the same time.
That's a fact.
And that is you, bro.
Thank you, King.
Veteran, extremely relevant.
Thank you, brother.
At the same time, bro. So I gotta say welcome to Off Air. This was mandatory that I did this, bro.
No question, King.
But when we look at you, you are a symbol of hip hop.
Thank you.
And the one thing I noticed with you, Bus, is you always pay it back to the community.
Definitely.
But you are a symbol of hip hop.
Thank you, King.
If there was anyone that said, man, let's delete Busta Rhymes' contributions to hip hop, can you imagine how much we would miss, not just in this genre, but period? That's how much you mean to this movement, this world, this culture. Like, you are hip hop, bro, and it's a pleasure to see you, and it's a pleasure to know you, man.
Thank you, King. It's a pleasure to have you as my friend, my brother. I feel super blessed to be doing this type of sit down with you, because as long as we've known each other, we've always done it every other way.
Yeah.
And for you to choose to do it this way with me, I already know you about to go in on a whole other fucking, you about to go in a different bag. And it's an honor and a pleasure to even be chosen to be in this space with you and be able to go where we getting ready to go, because I already feel it and I don't even know what you're gonna ask me.
Right.
But I feel it like we going somewhere different today, somewhere deep today.
Definitely.
Somewhere special today, and the comfort level is important for me to even be willing to go to those places.
Yes, sir.
So to be able to do it with you is a treasure in itself. And the way you've always represented the culture and represented us, we know we in good caretaker hands with you.
Thank you, brother.
You know what I'm saying? So I love you and I'm grateful and thank you for everything, King.
Right. Man, with that being said, when you killed that man in that alley when I saw, no, it's bullshit. Yeah, tell us about it, Bus. Hey, Bus, did you grow up, like, with music always in the household, man?
Yes.
Like, and what kind of music? Was it different genres? Like, how did Bus grow up?
My house primarily was Jamaican music.
Right.
It was like, at that time and particularly too, it was more like reggae music, because reggae music is more like what we would consider to be the R&B of Jamaican music.
Yes, sir.
And dancehall in Jamaican music is more of what they would consider rap music to be in American music. So it wasn't too much dancehall going on in my crib. It was more like Bob Marley and
Yes, sir.
Dennis Brown, and they was primarily singers.
Both parents from Jamaica?
Both parents. My whole, everybody.
So family.
Yeah, the whole family's Jamaican. The youngins is more American.
Right, right.
You know, a lot of us was born here because, you know, by the time they was having us,
But it's in the household.
Everything is in the household.
It's in the bone marrow.
Everything.
Yeah.
DNA, cell membrane, the nucleus of the cell, all Jamaica. So the music was that. My pops was a jazz fanatic too, though. So, you know, the modern jazz quartets and what's his name? We sampled him for PTA. Something Lewis, man. Can't remember his name. But the jazz thing was my dad, Ray Charles and all of that, you know, blues and soul. That was the next thing that was big in my house. When we drove around with Pops in his car, though, it was stations that would play like pop American music and rock music.
Yeah.
So like My Sharona and all
man.
of them type of joints, we was wilding out to that in the car as he was whipping us around from family member to his friends in the white Thunderbird with the burgundy leather top on the roof. So yeah.
Seatbelt not needed.
You know what I'm saying? Never no seatbelt.
Yeah.
So that's what we grew up on. And all of that music really was a blessing for me, because up until we started to first hear hip hop, we was already fans of all of these other music that we was hearing and we was being raised on. And we were really like enjoying it. Like, I remember wilding out in the backseat singing that Ma Sharona with my younger brother. Like, that was the biggest rap tune out now. You know what I'm saying? And then when Rappers Delight and all of that started, you know, we was so fascinated by, you know, hearing what this hip hop thing was being, what was just being born from it. The breakdancing and the popping and the graffiti and the DJing and the MCing and just the whole rebellious nature of it.
Yeah, man.
That thing just took us to a whole nother place. But to be able to have that with what we was being raised on in the house. And then another thing, we couldn't go outside unless we did, you know, little chores in the crib. So we ended up, you know, to pass the time and enjoy doing the chores and learning responsibility, even though we hated it and just made sure we got it done to be able to go hit the street and chill with the homies. It was hearing that music helped us pass the time.
Right.
Doing all of the shit we had to do in the house.
Yeah.
So
yeah, music was definitely like the soundtrack, the background.
Absolute.
And it was concentrated, bro. We didn't have, you know, 150 satellite channels, 15 streams, you know, 1,500 stream channels, and so many things that took us away. It was like the kid, the man, the woman, the child, whatever, the girl, and their music.
Yep.
Like music, it was 8 of us in the household.
Right.
Always sharing rooms. So music was like my getaway.
Right.
If I could put on some headphones, and it was always not knowing that I was paying tuition into the school of experience.
No question.
For what I do today.
Real talk.
With all the genres of music that I grew up listening to, all the R&B, the gospel, the rock, everything, man. And you can hear that when you do something where it was in where it came from. The roots of a lot of stuff that you do, bro.
Thank you, bro.
When did you fall in love with hip hop? So you fall in love with hip hop as a spectator first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I fell in love with hip hop. I lived on this block, and it's funny because in this area of East Flatbush, Brooklyn, and particularly before I moved to Long Island, my mother and my father had owned a 2-family house. And in this particular area of East Flatbush, Brooklyn, most of the homes on the blocks were 2-family homes with a basement. You could either, you know, illegally turn it into a living space or just leave it as a basement. Now, at this time, the neighborhood was a community that was like, it takes a village to raise a child, right? On my block, it was a lot of the 5% nation of the gods and earths, because that presence of being conscious and aware and smart was cool. So Zulu Nation was present. 5% nation of the gods and earths was present. The Ansar Muslims and the Sunni Muslims that would be in the street selling Muslim oils and incense and all of that, you know, that was in the neighborhood. So also in the neighborhood, Rampage, my cousin, lived around the block from me. Literally, like, you hit one corner, you make a right, you hit another corner, you make a right. Rampage building was right around the block. Then Lord have mercy, from Flip Mode, he lived all the way like 3 blocks down, and Special Ed literally lived 3 blocks down and then 3 blocks over. So this was our neighborhood, and we all went to this school called PS 181. And when we first started to fall in love with hip hop, I think Rapper's Delight was the first song that really started to bring us together more. And because that became the thing that it changed the narrative and the conversation piece amongst us as kids. Because now you got to learn these raps. This was the cool thing. When the block parties was happening in the neighborhood, these was the records that was getting the most burn. And all of the records that the architects and the pioneers of the culture was rhyming to before Rapper's Delight. Like the original Good Times beat that the Sugar Hill Gang rhymed on. You know, those records,
cutting that.
They was all, you know, they was beating that up in the street and beating up the Freedom record in the street. And those joints was the joints, but wasn't nobody rhyming on it unless they had an MC that pulled up to the block party that sounded like them old school MCs back then. But Rapper's Delight was the record that changed us. And they had a record store that was in between Lord Have Mercy and Special Ed block on Church Avenue that we would walk to go buy that Rapper's Delight vinyl, to go buy Eighth Wonder by Sugar Hill Gang vinyl, to go buy Crash Crew. We came here to tell the world just who we are, rocking females, cause we are superstars. So let me tell you, the bass in your face, the highs in the eyes, gonna make your nature rise, cause we are the Crash Crew. And them records was legend back in that time. Those was the records that made me want to rhyme. Those was the records that made me want to learn graffiti. Those was the records that made me learn how to DJ a little bit. Never nice enough to want to go out and DJ and play no party or no shit like that.
But intrigued by it.
I learned, those songs made me, it was a possession. Like I got possessed like one of them Exorcist movies or some shit. Like hip hop jumped into my body and never left.
It definitely took you down. It exposed you and opened you to something.
Completely.
Because I grew up, you know, Jackson 5, Commodores, everything in the house.
Same thing with us.
But hip hop, that's when it felt like, okay, shit, this is mine.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is mine. Whatever the F they doing, dude, like, this is mine.
Absolutely.
I remember my homeboy Trevor, we used to literally walk to the boys club and we would just do Rapper's Delight all the way there.
That's crazy.
And I mean, dude, I'm talking about 2 turntables. I'm like, I didn't even know what a turntable was. She heard stories and she heard Fable, but I'm just walking. But that introduction made me look for way more.
Absolute.
And gravitated towards it. One of my partners, Frank, when he would send me tapes from New York, because it wasn't social media. We're like, oh, you know, go peep this out. You couldn't hear a lot of shit on the radio. There were no outlets. If you could find something in a record shop, we had a small bin, not a section. So yeah, it just put you on a journey.
That's a fact.
Yeah, so it put you on a journey early, not to just explore, but you wanted to also do what you heard others doing when it came to rapping.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to rhyme way before I tried to rhyme. I wanted to DJ way before I even learned the little that I learned. I wanted to do graffiti because, interestingly, there was a beautiful Panamanian woman by the name of Mitzi. She had a son named Alfonso. He was already bombing subway cars, and when my mother used to work nights, when my mother and my father got a divorce, I had to stay over with Aunt Mitzi and her son Alfonso. And back then, past the Rapper's Delight record, the shit that I was exposed to was him preparing all of his arsenal that he was going to bomb the subways with late in the night. So he would be up until about 2, 3 in the morning preparing these beautiful, incredible graffiti pieces in this black book that it was filled with just white, clean pages with no lines on them. And he just had these incredible assortments of different size magic markers that was pilot magic markers for him to create his bomb, like the pieces that he was gonna create to bomb the subways within his book. So I would watch him do it. But the dope shit about that was, while he was preparing this shit, I don't know if you ever remember seeing, like, in the subways in New York, tags is different from bombs. When you bomb a subway, you putting up a big piece and you're gonna bomb the subway and take up the whole subway car. A tag is when you just write some shit real quick and you just tagging your name on some shit everywhere you can because it's easy to do quick and it's, you know, you get in and out, right? But the shit that was intriguing about it was that the markers were thick as hell. Man. So I got to see like these little, the way he would make these markers was with old school black shoe polish bottles that you would have in the house or your father would have in the house to polish his shoe up before he went to church on Sundays or some shit. And what he did was he would take these erasers, these chalkboard erasers from school, and he came back to the crib with them shits, and in the chalkboard erasers, they had like 5 strips of, like these 5 felt strips. And the motherfucker would rip off the strips one by one. And he would fold and bend them shits. You know the ball that was like on the top of the fucking shoe pile with or the brush? You shake up the fucking bottle with the big screw on top, and you squeeze that shit and it'll go into the brush, soak the brush, and then you just stroke that shit against your shoe? The motherfucker would bust that shit off, keep the black shoe polish, like the ink, the nigga would fold the motherfucking felt that he stripped off the chalkboard eraser and squeeze it into the shoe polish bottle, cover it back up, shake that shit, squeeze it. That same black shoe polish ink would fucking soak up the eraser that he squoze into the bottle, and that would be the magic marker tip. And that motherfucker would run around on the subway, tag his name, and it'd be that thick fucking marker. And when I saw that shit, I was like, this is how you motherfucker, because when I used to look and see the tags in the subways, riding on the train as a shorty, I went to stores trying to find them shits.
That marker.
Them big ass thick shits wasn't being sold nowhere. You feel me? So when I saw this motherfucker make these shits, I was like, whoa, this how y'all do this shit? Then a few times, you know, he let me come with him and his homies when they getting ready to go and tag up shit. They never really let me come fuck around with the subways. But because obviously they had the fucking transit police out there. Then you also had other graffiti artists they was beefing with. Sometimes you throw a fucking, you put fucking 2, 3 days into a fucking art piece. Somebody coming and just violate your shit. So beef was out there. Then when them transit police is coming after you, you fuck around and you run on the wrong fucking, you hit that third rail and get electrocuted out that motherfucker, or you get locked up, or you get beat up by the motherfuckers you beefing with, or you know, you just get arrested. He ain't want that liability with me. So while he was preparing all of this shit before he go hit the subways or whatever, or go tagging, they had an old school, it wasn't old school at the time, they had an underground hip hop station. And it was on this I think the dial was like 105.9 or something. And the station ID was WHBI. And on this station, they would be on from like 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning. And they had Red Alert would be on there sometimes, Africa Islam from the Zulu Nation.
I know who is.
And fucking the Supreme Team.
World famous.
Yep, the world famous Supreme Team. And they would play these live battles that was happening like between Cold Crush Brothers and the Foursome C's or Busy B and Kumo D. And I was listening to these shits, and that's when we was nice with the pause tapes. So, you know, you record these fucking battles that they playing on this underground station, and a lot of times, a lot of motherfuckers didn't know about the underground station. And Fonzo put me onto it. I didn't know about it neither, because he was listening to that shit all the time as he was prepping to go hit the subways. So I'm there, and I'm listening to this shit, and I'm up, and I'm hyping. This adrenaline is running through me as I'm watching him prep to go and do some shit that ain't legal.
Right.
It's the shit that I loved to see when I was at the subways watching trains pass with these big, incredible-ass fucking beautiful art pieces that was on the side of the subways. And I'm like, damn, my man that I'm staying at the crib with, on Mitzi's son, Fonzo, he know how to do this shit. He actually going out there and doing this shit. Then he would come back with pictures of the shit after they completed their art pieces and show it to me. And I was like, damn, I'm really living with a real hip-hop motherfucker.
And you knew it then?
And I knew that then.
Yeah, man.
Because I was a fan of it.
Yeah.
But the shit was, I would stay up until he came back, because I was so excited to hear the stories. Like when he would come back with his boys and they would, you know, clean themselves up. They fucking fingers got all type of spray paint stains and shit on it, and their clothes is fucking stained up from all of that.
I was gonna ask you that, because in your head, I know you see what his room look like, what the tags look like,
Absolute.
What the conversations look like, and even when you just start, I know you looking at that.
I'm fucked up by those details.
Shit.
I'm fucked up by all them details. But them nights when I would just wait up for them to come back, to live through their experience, I was making these pause tapes, and you know, at the end of the day, everybody want to go to school with a fresh pair of Pumas, fresh pair of Adidas at the time. So the only way for me to get it, because, you know, your moms wasn't going to spend probably more than $40 on a pair of sneakers.
Yeah, good luck.
Pumas and Adidas was costing about $60 at the time. So between saving lunch money and making these pause tapes and lying to motherfuckers like I was at those battles, and my big cousin brought me in them shits, and I had the little tape recorder, and I stood by the speaker, niggas. I'm lying like a motherfucker. My tape sounding wild clear. I'm selling these shits for $5 a copy. And nobody knew the underground stations that I was recording these shits from. When a radio personality started talking, you should pause the tape, rewind that bitch a little bit, and wait for that motherfucker to shut up. Unpause the motherfucker, and even though it might be a skip in between what happened and when the motherfucker started talking and where the shit continues at that point, nobody cared, because the moment sounded so ill in the battle, you was never hearing that shit on the mainstream stations that was playing whatever very few hip-hop records that they was playing. It was like, oh shit. Culturally, obviously the art of discovery is a very important thing to all of us. We want to be the first motherfuckers to do everything. Yo, you come into school with the first color Puma that was the rust orange stripe and the fucking beige suede all over the fucker, and everybody just had the blue and whites or the red and whites. You looking like all the bitches wanted to pull up and talk.
Hey, Buzz, let me tell you the shit we used to hear out here. Anytime somebody, and everybody that's from the West Coast is my witness.
Right.
You come with something different, everybody got it from New York. Like, man, where you get those? Oh, man, I got a cousin in New York.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, I got a such and such in New York. I was like, ain't this about a bitch? New York got everything.
Yo,
but that's the same way where you was like, man, they put you on a hunt for something because you had to have it first.
Had to have it first.
Crispy, and we looked a certain way too, though, man.
Yeah.
Like, you could be train, bus, whatever it is, man, and you can look at somebody walking and you like, they listen to hip hop.
No question. No question. The whole shit is a lifestyle. Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
But those were the moments for me that turned me into a junkie for this shit. Being that close to it, but not actually being able to be in it.
Right. One too many, 1,000 is not enough.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm seeing all of this graffiti shit from Aunt Mitzi's son Alfonso. I'm hearing all of these battles from this underground station, but I still have yet to be in it. So it was the fiending, the desire that was just a growing hunger that just continued to grow to want to actually be a part of it.
How old are you around this time?
I'm about 9. I'm about 9 years old. And it wasn't until I got to 12 years old when I actually wrote my first, I would say 13. That's when I wrote my first rhyme.
Do you remember like what that was?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Absolutely. I remember the same shit. Pulse rates of the heart will increase by the beats. When acknowledged by the listeners, the fresh lyrics I speak. Vocal tones of my voice increases with an extension to approach or so exceed the fresh lyrics I will mention.
You 13?
I'm 13 and I was stealing LL
I wonder if that
shit.
sound like hella because it's Busta Rhymes in your voice and shit too though. Because I'm like, man, is this on Blockbuster? Did you put this shit out? The fuck?
Yo, it's
if you
funny.
Doing that at 13, shit.
Yo, that LL made me rhyme like that. Cause it felt like he was just the big word rapping ass motherfucker with the wild, cocky courage.
Hey man, I remember LL.
I'm saying everything with my chest. That was L.
Said he circumcised DJs when he's on the airways till the mission's complete. You're a musical slave. I remember. I was like, oh,
that talk.
Yeah, and he would use big words and shit. Yes, man.
Need a beat.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. Them big words is what I emulated my whole shit after LL when I wrote my first rhyme. Then I ain't write no more rhymes after that. I didn't think.
Did you go with those publicly? Like.
Yeah, I did it, but I didn't have the courage yet. So the rhyme was dope to people, but I only said it to people that was like in my super immediate circle. I wasn't going in the schoolyard and doing none of that shit.
Why not?
I just didn't believe it yet. Like I didn't believe in me enough yet. And I didn't like how long it took me to come up with that motherfucking little bit of shit either. That shit just was like, it just felt like a lot of thinking and a lot of work, and it's just too much to do. Breakdancing was easier to me. Popping was easier to me.
Man.
Tagging some shit in 2 seconds on a fucking wall or at a bus stop.
But
that rap shit, it just was too much. And
how long do you write it at 13, recite it for a couple people, and then leave it alone and come back to it?
I left it. I probably did that with that one rhyme for about 7 months.
Right.
And then I just never wrote another rhyme. But I made sure when I said it, it was to different ears that wasn't hearing me say it all the time.
Right.
So, interestingly, I tried to write another rhyme, and I wasn't as dope as the first one. So I just got frustrated and left it alone.
But you still loving what's being created. You just can't create it at that time.
Absolutely.
But everybody else creation, like you never fell out of love with hip hop.
Never.
You just fell out of.
I fell out of love with wanting to go through the process of writing the rap. I got frustrated with that, but I still loved the rhyme.
Did you have a name back then?
Yeah, it's a fucked up name.
What was it?
It was Chill Old Ski.
Yes. And everybody was a ski.
Everybody was a ski.
Yeah. And we were chilling.
Or everybody had a 3-part name.
Yeah. Cool Rock Ski.
Cool Mo D.
Yeah. Prince Marky D.
LL Cool J. Yeah. All these niggas had 3-part names.
Cool Mo D. You know yeah. You said it.
I thought having a 3-part name was cool.
So Chill Old Ski.
Chill Old Ski.
Where does the O come from?
Mo.
Right. You're like, fuck the M and the E. I'm just going to take the O.
I'm going to take the O.
Right.
I can't bite the man shit, so I can't take Mo. But the shit felt dope between Cool and D.
Right.
So I'm going to be Chill Old Ski.
Right.
Sound close to Cool Mo D to me.
And then when you got a name like that, back in the days too, there's so many. You got B-E, you know, so if you Chill Old Ski, you got In the Place to Be, Down With Me,
Mad
Viciously.
Shit around with that.
Yeah.
Mad shit around with that. Mad shit. So I would run with this thinking that it was cool. And then I forget the specific situation, but I still wanted motherfuckers to call me Chilowski even though I wasn't rhyming.
Right, yeah, because it's a name.
It's a name that was cool to me, and I thought it was cool. And after motherfuckers, things was changing a little bit, motherfuckers was like, that shit sound trash, that shit whack. And me being part of the 5% Nation of the Gods and Earths, my attribute as 5% was Lord Tahim. And everybody was like, yo, why don't you just use Lord Tahim as your rap name? That sound better than Chilowski, motherfucker.
Wow.
So then I switched to that for a little while. And I still wasn't writing no rhymes.
But you looked the part.
I definitely looked the part. And I was busting everybody's ass that was trying to test me on some breakdance shit and some pop and shit. I was nice with that. So I still felt like I was a part of the culture. I was repping the culture. And I was around dudes that was so ill with it that they would go to different boroughs to battle motherfuckers and be in the city and battle motherfuckers and enter contests. And, you know, like, Scoob and Scrap was a part of a clique called the ICU Dancers. They was like the biggest dance clique around at the time. And they used to always be in Union Square, which Union Square is the club that Slick Rick made the record about, Moment I Feared, on the Greatest Adventures of Slick Rick, because it was a terrorist club. So you go in there, you either was an ill dancer, a ill MC, or you was a gangster. And a lot of motherfuckers got robbed in there, got shot in there, or got beat up in there. But it was the hottest shit to go to, and motherfuckers was with it.
You had to be in there.
You had to be in there regardless. So the dudes that I was around, it was 3 of them. One name was Powerful, his government name was Greg, and there was another brother named Tony, and it's so funny because Tony lived across the street from me in East Flatbush, and I ain't seen Tony since I left Brooklyn, probably when I was like 12 years old. And I just seen Tony probably like 5 months ago in Kennedy Airport on my way to LA. And I ain't seen him since I was 12. And he was a year or two older than me. But that motherfucker was unbelievable with this pop shit. And then there was another brother that was with them. So them 3 was so nice. They had this rep where they would move around, and they started to let me just come and hang out and see what the fuck they was doing and who they was battling. And they was battling the big name motherfuckers that was popping at the time. So that shit kept my spirit fulfilled because I was able to get busy too. I was never as nice as them. But me being able to learn and take shit from them to battle against other motherfuckers that was way below their level.
That wasn't with them.
I was shredding motherfuckers, sledgehammering motherfuckers with all the shit I was taking from them. So what forced me to actually take the rhyme shit seriously, 12 years old now, I moved to Long Island. I fucked around and started finding mischief with a couple of homies that was into hustling. And this is all strong and heavy Reaganomics crack era. And I caught 2 drug charges by the time I was 12.
Wow.
One when I was 11 and one when I was 12. And it's interesting because obviously the laws was way different. Like at that time, you fuck around, we was renting cars, and you know, we had adults renting cars for us. We was hustling for the big homie drug dealers in the neighborhood, and you could get a $10,000 worth of tickets. You wasn't going to jail for not having a license. And you would get a suspended license when you accumulated tickets before you got a license that would prevent you from getting a license when you eventually tried to get a license. But you would not go to jail. So motherfuckers didn't give a fuck about them tickets. We used to rip them shits up and throw them out the window as soon as the police walked back to their car. Because we was knowing that we was going to be able to drive off from the situation anyway. So growing up under that type of shit, you kind of started to function in a very lawless manner.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? With that being said, we selling crack, we didn't give a fuck. You know, call your moms could come up to the jail, get you from the precinct, You was a minor. It ain't like they gonna
Yeah,
keep you
man.
until you go to fucking a juvenile jail. You get to go home. You know what I'm saying? And that environment at the time and that mentality at the time is what led to the, okay, I gotta get all of you little badasses up out of this Brooklyn shit and take y'all to Long Island. I get to Long Island. I don't want to go to Long Island. It's the suburbs. I'm thinking everybody in Long Island is pussy. I'm from Brooklyn. I don't want to be out there. I go out there. To my surprise, everybody from other families that was little terrorist niggas in their neighborhood, their parents was bringing their little badasses out there too. So I'm around all of the Brooklyn and the Queens kids and the kids from the Bronx whose family was able to migrate to the fly suburb shit and buy homes and try to get their kids in a better environment. And you know, it's interesting because I never shared a story. You know how these artists will talk about, you know, they come from the struggling and suffering and they project babies and, you know, I will never front like I was one of them. And God bless all of them. But I came from street shit, but my parents took great care of me.
Right.
And I didn't need for nothing. You feel me?
Right.
My
But you
parents,
wanted something.
I wanted so much shit they wasn't willing to give me.
Not it's a difference.
Yeah, it's difference. You know, like I said, moms wasn't spending more than $40 on a pair of sneakers. I ain't like the Pro Catch that I was forced to buy with $40 all the time. The Pro Catch shit started getting a little corny to me. The 69ers was getting a little corny to me. The Converses, them chicks was getting a little corny to me. I need the motherfucking Pumas, ma. I need the Adidas, ma. I need them Clarks, Wallabies, ma.
Right, yes, sir.
I want them Bally's, ma. Fuck you doing over there, ma?
Right. Under your breath, you're saying fuck with you.
What? Oh, nah, them times too, you got the stiff arm right in your fucking face with the backhand, bloody your whole shit
So if it's
up.
not there, you know how to go get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
And we had the bros that was, the big bros that would let us take a little pull off of a spliff at 11 and 12 years old, let us go to the store and buy a Lucy cigarette for 25 cents. You know, just go in the backyard and go smoke that shit. Go in the driveway. Don't let, because everybody knew each other's parents. And them big homies was the ones that they still upheld integrity and respect in the neighborhood. The interesting thing is when I turned 12 and we moved to Long Island, I'm in junior high school in 6th grade in Brooklyn. But I get to Long Island and 6th grade is back in elementary school.
Right. So are they going 7th through 9th or
7th through 9th in junior high school. So I'm mad as a motherfucker at that shit.
Right, you back on elementary campus.
I'm back in elementary school. I'm supposed to be in junior high school. What the fuck going on? So I get to 7th grade now, and I'm the new talk of the school as far as the new kid from Brooklyn, right? So. And then I'm in there on some super hip hop shit, and I'm dressed with this blend and this mixture between the East Flatbush, Brooklyn, West Indian community way of dressing and hip hop.
Yes.
So, you know, it's tradition from back in the days to keep a washcloth in the back of your pocket. And the reason why that was done was because, you know, as Jamaican motherfuckers, you living in that hot-ass fucking climate all the time, you just need some shit to wipe the perspiration. Or wipe the fingerprints off the iron if you had to let something go. Or a quick cleanup if you poke something in the club. So, you know, the thing is, between a interaction with a woman in the club, busting your gun, or just perspiration, you kept your washcloth on you. So that's what we saw from the OGs that was Jamaican, Guyanese, Trinidadian, Haitian, like that was the Caribbean thing in East Flatbush, Brooklyn. So it just became a part of the style. I'm a hot blood anyway. Me and all my children and my mother, we sleep with the fan that's close to our face when it's wintertime. Central air system, freezing. With the blanket over you, but we still just gotta have that air circulation. So I'm in junior high school now, And while this talk is circulating about me being a new kid from Brooklyn, Brown was already the dude with the buzz from Leaders of the New School in junior high school, because he's in 9th grade. I'm in 7th grade. Dinko in 8th grade. So Brown is the big guy in the school, you know what I'm saying? He's known for rhyming already. I'm not rhyming yet. Again, I ain't wrote another rhyme since Post Rate a couple years before that. I get to the school, there's a moment where after school, Brown he got the crowd around him and shit. They outside in the schoolyard, he's spitting. Somebody was beatboxing for him. And then I guess the other dude that started spitting needed a beatbox, so I started beatboxing for him. Then Brown started spitting again, and I kept beatboxing for Brown. And then all of a sudden, because I'm the guy that is the new kid from Brooklyn, and there's a little buzz about me in the school, just being this kid that could pop, break dance, and do all of this shit. And I done displayed my skill set a few times since I got into the school early, just to set the tone. Like, I'm nice with what I do. And nigga Brown started dissing me while I was beatboxing for him. Yeah, so I definitely had a major problem with that, and I'm feeling like, I'm not one of you Long Island niggas. I slapped the shit out you. But I ain't go that route with it. And I didn't want to fuck up the vibe with all of the people that was there and be on some party pooper shit. So as torn as I was between whether or not I should still rhyme for him or not, I did. But I was angry than a motherfucker. With that being said, I went home and wrote the most disrespectful battle rap against. That shit gave me so much. The pressure of being put in a situation and being made to look like a sucker and not responding wasn't even a fathomable, that wasn't a fathomable option to me. To not respond was an impossibility to me. So that shit gave me a different level of motivation to go and write this rhyme, to come back and deal with Brown the next day. Bust his ass. He wanted to be in a group after that. That's how bad I got on this.
So you hadn't written anything.
Wrote shit.
And you said it took you a long time to write anyway.
I wrote that shit immediately.
Right.
Blacked out for extensive amount of bars. I didn't even get through to finish my shit because motherfuckers was bugging so much off of the amount that I said that it was just like, leave him alone. At that point, me and Brown was walking off, and he just came over to me and bigged me up and was like, yo, we should just form a group. And I was like, fuck it, I'm with it. So we had a third dude down with us named Mystery, and he just wanted to stay on some hustler shit in the street. Brown brought Dinko. I brought Malo, because Malo was my cousin. We formed a group. But with all of that being said, I credit Brown for really giving me the motivation to want to become an MC. Mind you, not to skip ahead, because there's a lot of shit between that moment and what I'm getting ready to say, but after being kicked out of Leaders of the New School in 93 rather, when we did the Time album, I ain't put out a solo album until 96 because I still had the same frustration, and the nervous shit was on top of the frustration of not being able to come up with rhymes as quickly as I wanted to.
So you was standing in your own way too, though.
I was super blocking my own blessing and standing in my own way, to the point where Q-Tip, this is while I was shooting Higher Learning in 93. Higher Learning came out in 94. 93, I'm staying in the Oakwood Apartments on Fuller and Hollywood Boulevard at the time, in Westwood. Tupac is staying in there with me. Omar Epps is staying in there with me.
Mercy.
Little Daddy Shane, which is Big Daddy King little brother, was out there with Omar Epps. there was another brother by the name of Shorty that was Omar Epps' barber. At the time, I wasn't smart enough to bring a barber.
Right.
I never moved and lived away from New York for the length of time that I had to stay out here to shoot Higher Learning. And I had to continuously use Omar Epps' barber. And I found out that I was kicked out the group while I was in LA shooting Higher Learning.
Out of Leaders?
I was kicked out of Leaders of the New School while we were shooting Higher Learning.
So what happened when we thought we saw kind of a breakup on MTV?
That happened when we was doing a Fab Five Freddy interview by the Promenade in Brooklyn. And there was some turbulent energy between me and Brown for, I would say since Scenario came. It reached the apex when Scenario came. Because we was beefing before the first album came out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Before Scenario happened, when it was just PTA and Teacher Don't Teach Us nonsense, we was fighting before shows and then get on the stage, do the show, like niggas was best friends, and then get back off the stage and fight again.
Physically?
Physically, like sometimes lips busted and bleeding in your mouth before we got on stage. And would get on that stage and act like we was the best fucking friends ever, swallowing your blood to make sure motherfuckers don't even see your teeth red. And rhyme, perform, and we high-fiving, and we holding on each other, and we doing a fucking East Coast stomp. You know what I'm saying? and this was the reality of our situation because Brown, you know, he kind of really like led the charge with this group shit. That wasn't an idea of mine.
Mm-hmm.
It was his idea to get me to be with him and then, you know, get this and then Brown brother, DJ Higg, he was in Eric Vietnam Sadler and Chuck D in them age group. So Brown became the plug too. So when we needed to get on or get in the same room with the Chuck D's and the Bomb Squad and little talent shows that, you know, Chuck D and them was judging and shit, like Brown knew all of that. He had all the intel.
Right.
So we would...
His 6 degree of separation was much shorter.
Yes.
Because he was plug.
His brother...
He was plugged, you had an extinction cord.
Motherfucking right.
And plugged in,
Shit. So, you know, Brown, he always felt like he was the leader of the group.
Right.
Leaders of the New School, he's the brainchild of that. And he also felt he was nicer than me. And he felt that he was nicer than all of us. Dinko never was in competition with us like that.
Right.
Me and Brown was in competition like that. It was good because it brought the best out of us, but then the negative part of that obviously is the bullshit outweighed the good that it brought out of us.
Yeah, more problems than profit.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, let me tell you, the introduction, and by that time, you not Chillo Skis when we get introduced to Leaders, right?
Right.
Man, I remember watching Sob Story for the first time. Now, PTA, all that go, but I remember Sob Story. I was like, because I consumed hip-hop. I searched it out. I looked for it, bro. I would even get vinyl bus and I would look at the like what the acetate would print, and it'd be like these codes, or then sometimes they'd write little messages in there. I love the way the crackle sound and how you were Chillo Ski. You know, I wasn't always Big Boy.
God, what the fuck? What was your? Go ahead, finish, bro.
So yeah, my name back in the days, bro, was MC Scratch.
MC Scratch?
Yes, because...
How you combine a rap shit
Hold on, Chillo Ski. This motherfucker. No, ask the question. Then I'm gonna show you the genius of the name. I know what you're gonna ask.
Yeah, like
MC Scratch.
How did you combine a MC, a rap component for a name with a DJ component for a name?
Because that's what I did.
You rhymed and DJ'd at the same time?
Dude, it was MC for the rapping, Scratch for the DJing. I'm lucky I didn't put my graffiti and all that shit in there because I would have been MC, graffiti, scratch, breakdance. Like, you know what I'm saying? But no, you couldn't tell me that MC. Could you imagine MC Scratch's neighborhood? Like, what you doing, man? Oh man, you know, we gotta go to MC Scratch in the morning, and you know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy how at that time you couldn't tell me shit.
That's a fact.
I remember one time I went to this dance and it was hot in there, and I had MC Scratch on my sweatshirt.
Right.
And it got hot, and you would iron your letters on.
Absolute.
Man, that shit, the M start falling off. You know what I'm saying? By the time I finished, I was like,
we all lived through that.
You know, like I'm trying to hold shit up. But that's the tuition into the School of Experience. Real and shit. Loving. Like how you would say Lonzo that did the markers?
Fonzo. Yeah.
Fonzo did the markers. So that was like us finding a way. You know, we wasn't going finding shit. Like, I'm going to find a way to look like this, to feel like that. Yeah. But so getting back into what we learned from leaders of the new school, Busta Rhymes, and this is out there, it's not like it's groundbreaking, but from Chillowski, how do you arrive at Busta Rhymes?
The Busta Rhymes shit starts like this. One day, there was a talent show. Mm-hmm. We get to the talent show. It's about 25 groups on this talent show. I believe it was in Hempstead, Long Island. Dr. Dre from Yo MTV Raps was one of the judges. Original Chuck D was another judge. Right. Yes, original concept. Knowledge Me. Mm-hmm. When that record Knowledge Me was out from Dr. Dre, you remember that shit?
Yeah, hey, bro, let me tell you my shit, too. That fucking, when they flipped the, was it the Jackson's Great to Be Here? That doom, doom, doom,
oh, yeah.
Doom,
oh, yeah.
Doom, 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 doom. Yeah, man. Yeah, bro. Yeah. It's great to be here.
Oh, my God.
Yes, sir, bro.
Them records, at that time,
yeah, man.
Dr. Dre was super lit in the street. So when we found out he was the judge of this talent show, we did all type of shit to secure our slot on that motherfucker. Chuck D was another judge on that talent show.
And you already said that Brown was kind of a link to Chuck as well.
Brown was definitely.
Right.
So that's how we ended up getting into that situation. So we saved money for the outfits. We rehearsed, got studio time at the studio that was downstairs from Chuck D and them headquarters, which was Spectrum City at the time. And this is where the Bomb Squad and all of them, this is where they worked, this is where the Rebel Without a Pause was made, Public Enemy #1.
Creating magic.
This is where they magic was made. They had a gentleman by the name of Paul Shabazz that had a studio downstairs, and they had an MC named Shamello D, which Shamello is the producer for Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Could See. So that's how shit come full circle. Shamello was with us from the inception. Before we got the name leaders of the new school, Shamello was with us because he was using that studio because he had his own MC career that he was pursuing, and he was nice. His DJ was called the Epitome of, we called him Pit, but his name was short for Epitome. Epitome of Scratch Grand Cut. And he had a fucking Mustang 5.0, cherry red. And we used to squeeze up in that shit because he was the only transportation to get to the shows that we was able to perform at. So we made this song where we sampled the Chinese arithmetic shit from Paid in Full album with Eric B. and Rakim, and we turned it into a different type of beat for us to create our own song. And we came up with another song. We get to the talent show. We were sitting there for the whole shit. We watched all 25 groups get on. Then they said, the shit is over. Them niggas ain't never call us. We auditioned. We qualified. We was on the fucking advertisement of the talent show. For some reason, them niggas ain't never call us. We madder than a motherfucker. Everybody leaves. Whole venue empty except for Chuck and them, you know, packing up their shit to leave too. So we sitting looking at each other like, yo, there ain't no way in the world we leaving this motherfucker. All the rehearsing and studio time we done spent on and money we had to spend for these fucking outfits and niggas ain't even give us a chance to get our shit off. We need to go holler at these dudes. We go up to the stage, we was super respectful. Dr. Dre, Chuck, could y'all please give us 5 minutes to be heard because we've been sitting here all night. We did the audition. Y'all approved us to perform, and y'all ain't call us. Can y'all give us 5 minutes?
With no crowd.
No crowd. We did the schoolyard. I started beatboxing for Brown. That nigga spit. When it was my turn, he spit. When it was Dinko's turn, we did the beatbox for Dinko together. They respected the whole shit. And they was like, yo, y'all need to come and meet us at Spectrum City Studios. Let's have us a meeting. So we get over there. When we get to the motherfucker, Chuck D, it's Hank Shockley, it's Chuck D, it's Eric Vietnam Sadler.
The Bomb Squad.
It's Keith Shockley there.
Oh, my God.
It's Johnny Juice Rosado there. And Flav running around being jokester.
Yeah.
And some of the S1s would be in, like they was there too, but they wasn't in uniform.
Right.
They just in their regular clothes chilling. But there's a bulletin board on the wall, and on the bulletin board, they got these group names. So they got Leaders of the New School. It looked like it was in the Raiders of the Lost Ark style logo. So Leaders would bend over like Raiders, and of the New School was like of the Lost Ark. And then they had True Mathematics and the Invisible Empire as another group. And then they had Funky Frank and the Street Force as another group. And then they had Son of Berserk and the Hellraisers as another group. And then they had Young Black Teenagers as another group.
This is on the wall?
This is already on the wall. They got all these group names with logos and nobody filling them shits up. So they didn't even have the artists. They just had the concepts for these groups. At the time, we was called a Destiny 3 MCs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Chillo Ski. C. Brown is Charlie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Dinko was already Dinko because Dinko's older brother was a big homie that was getting it in the street. So Little Dinko was what we used to call him, Little Dink. And I was, you know, trying to understand what was Chuck and them doing, because it seemed like some wild, mad scientist shit, because this is when it got real. They sitting there, and it was like some good cop, bad cop shit. So Chuck was the good cop, obviously. Hank Shockley's the bad cop. And they our big brothers, and I loved them both. Even Hank at the time, we thought he was bad cop. It was the perfect formula to how they got shit done. And nigga Hank Shockley go, we might have to break this shit up, man.
The group?
We might have to break this shit up. The group might have to get broke up. Fuck is you talking about? Because all of y'all styles, it ain't gelling right to me. Like, y'all look like each one of y'all kind of fit something else. Busta Rhymes, no, Chillo Ski, you look like you work with Funky Frank and the Street Force. Charlie Brown, you look like you work with Son of Berserk and the Hellraisers. Dinko D, you look like you work with True Mathematics and the Invisible Empire. And we looked at them niggas and said, we like Leaders of the New School. We don't know what you talking about because you ain't breaking up shit. We stay in this group right here. Or we ain't doing nothing.
This your first meeting?
It wasn't the first meeting.
But this the real
this was the first meeting wasn't even about the having to make a choice.
Right.
Because that conversation wasn't given to us the first meeting. Mm-hmm. We just saw them names and was in love with that Leaders of the New School shit. So it started there. I think probably 2 or 3 more times after we came back, Because they was fucking with the vibe we had. They loved what we was doing. They wanted to hear what we was...
So they had enough to make what they felt was a decision too, though.
Yes, after seeing us 2-3 times.
Yeah.
They also had a couple of other dudes up there that wanted the names, because there's a couple of other groups that they was already fucking with too. Son of Berserk and the Hellraisers. TA was Chuck D and them peoples, because Chuck D from Roosevelt, TA is from Roosevelt. TA is Son of Berserk. He became Son of Berserk. True Mathematics was another MC they was fucking with, and they wanted to create this thing that they could surround him with, because they didn't feel what he was doing on his own was enough. So that's what the Invisible Empire was supposed to be. Young Black Teenagers became the white boy group. But they wanted the name Leaders of the New School too.
Who wanted it?
Young Black Teenagers.
Oh, wow.
They
probably couldn't see Young Black Teenagers too. You know what I'm saying?
That wasn't even an option to them.
Right.
That wasn't an option for them. That wasn't an option under no kind of... They couldn't wrap their head around that. None of us could.
They're like,
you know
so Tap the Bottle could have been LONS from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tap the Bottle could have been Leaders of the New School. And it's interesting because we was both 4-man groups. Most of us that came up there was 4-man groups unless you was solo. Because even Son of Berserk, even though TA, Son of Berserk was the lead MC, it was a girl and 2 other dudes in the crew when you saw the promo pictures or you saw the single artwork. So, interestingly, Hank and them was trying to figure out what was the solution that they could present to us that would make sense and that they believe we would agree to earn getting the name. Motherfucker Hank Shockley gonna say, y'all want the name that bad? Y'all motherfuckers could go home and write a song called Fuck the Old School. What the fuck is you talking about? What are you talking about, Hank? Y'all want the name, go write a song called Fuck the Old School, and whoever got the better diss record is gonna end up with the name. You see who ended up with the name. Obviously, at that time and to this day, can't ever wrap your head around disrespecting any of the founding fathers or the architects or the fucking brilliant minds that gave birth to this culture that we are all fucking in love with on a fanatic levels.
But doesn't that make the assignment even more, not difficult, but beautiful? Because if you would have been like, oh, I got that, that's all day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
But for a motherfucker that don't diss the old school at that time, you had to really be like, damn, that's not just creative, but it was a low-hanging fruit for you.
We was crying writing them raps.
Yeah.
That shit was far from low-hanging fruit. That shit is so far from low-hanging fruit that I don't even want a motherfucker to bump into that shit floating around somewhere and put it on the internet to this day.
Right.
I never felt good about that. But what I did learn and love about that experience was how much are you willing to sacrifice to secure the win, motherfucker? And I think that's what the real goal was. It was never about writing the diss song.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And they knew that.
They knew that, of course, because everything about what they rapped was the foundation.
Yeah.
They did it the way that the forefathers did it. You know, even the way Chuck Rhymes style was when he rhymed on Public Enemy #1 and the echo that he had on his voice, that whole shit was an emulation of like one of them battles that you was hearing on the underground station when I was staying with Aunt Mitzi and Fonzo on the WHBI station and lying and telling niggas I'm selling these tapes for $5. Chuck made himself sound like those moments.
Yeah, bro.
And
is that psychos, life runs in cycles? New is old, no, I'm not no psycho.
That's the vibe.
Yeah, man.
That sound
Yeah.
When he was on that
1,
shit.
2, 3,
That shit. That was him replicating and giving homage to the forefathers.
Yeah.
And once we got the name, it was off to the horse races. But Busta Rhymes came from, he just one day said, if you're gonna be leaders of the new school, that Chillo Ski ain't got nothing new attached to it. You need to be some other shit. And every time we ask you to rhyme, you rhyme with this aggression that reminds me of like you a football player or some type of shit like that. So it's interesting. I know a football player that played for the Minnesota Vikings in 1985. His name is Busta Rhymes. I thought that shit was dope. I just hated the Busta part. Because they had a fucking shoe store called Busta Brown Shoes, and them shits was selling everything you did not want to fucking wear, buddy. Fuck, I want to call myself Busta Rhymes for if Busta Browns is the corny shit that ain't nobody respecting the drip of. I like the rhymes part. Let me just be Rhymes. Chuck was like, you trust me. You don't like it? You could go back to the Chillo Ski shit, but I'm telling you, Chillo Ski ain't no leaders of the new school shit. I said, I'm gonna trust you, Chuck.
Wow. And
that was it.
Were you stubborn in life at that time too, though?
Absolutely.
So that was like...
That was a very strange behavior pattern for me.
And you had a reason to not fuck with it.
And explained it and all of that.
Right.
And he just was like, and you know, they looking like Marvel Comics Goliath-sized giant superheroes when they put their records out and they was killing shit from the first song. And we so close to it. We watching the 9-8 posse pull up to the studio for real. Them niggas was real gangster niggas back in the days too, all coming with the old school 9-8s. Chuck D made a song about them niggas and put them niggas in a single artwork, and they in the parking lot with all the 9-8s pulled up on the Yo Bum Rush the Show album. And I'm looking at this shit like, I'm not going against nothing he say. He obviously know what he doing. And he doing some shit that we ain't never seen before. We ain't never seen a Flavor Flav in the front, just doing what Flav do in no group, and it worked. We ain't never seen no S1s that don't talk. All in sync with these motherfucking
military,
Islam military, and it worked.
Yeah, man. And you gotta think with PE, when you looked at that, bro, the sirens, the sound, the logo, the scope, all that, bro. It looked genius now.
Yeah.
But I remember looking at that shit I remember going to see Public Enemy the first time, bro. And they weren't even the headliner.
Right.
But when you hear the dun, 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 as soon as that brother said yes, you were like, oh, man.
That shit was scary.
S1's coming out, the military sounds, the drill, the sirens.
I remember the day they played that song for us. They had a meeting with us and Kings of Pressure.
For a Rebel?
Yeah, they was having a meeting with us to let us know that we ain't working. We think we working, we ain't working hard enough. We ain't doing shit. And get it out your mind that whatever the little shit is that you think you doing is doing some shit, because y'all niggas ain't doing shit. They got the record done. They got it queued up to press play. Y'all want to hear something? Y'all wanna see what working is? And you heard that motherfucking, something. Y'all don't know what this world is coming to.
Brothers and sisters.
Yeah, brothers and sisters.
And then you hear like, go tell them, brothers and sisters.
Yup, then repeat that shit.
Yeah. Y'all don't know what this world is coming to. Dun, 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 digga, 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 yes. The rhythm, the rebel, without a pause, a lower him a level. Oh my God, yes.
Yo,
man.
We started.
My man said, you want to be a S1 Griffith, tell you when. Oh man. Some say no to the album, The Show.
Bum Rush the Sound. I made a year ago. We cried.
Oh my God.
We cried. Like we was climbing the walls in tears because there's probably 2 or 3 moments in hip hop that made me cry because the record was so dope that I wish not only that it was mine, I wish that I created it. And I wondered if I would ever come up with something that would outdo that shit that's making me feel the way it's making me feel. That song was probably one of probably the second. Because I ain't gonna lie, that Rapper's Delight made me feel some.
Yeah.
That was the first record that made me feel anything.
That's the.
Made me feel anything. Yeah. But that Rebel Without a Pause, I didn't cry when I heard Rapper's Delight. I cried when I heard Rebel Without a Pause. That shit made me afraid. Because I'm already torn between, you know, the frustrations that I'm already having with the responsibility of writing verses all the time. Because it wasn't always, of course it got easier as time passed,
right.
But it was one thing that would be focused on trying to come up with a rhyme. I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna come up with a song like that? Interestingly enough, I said, I'm gonna be Busta Rhymes. I'm gonna try it, Chuck. We got leaders of the new school now, so I'm happy than a motherfucker. So I'm like, whatever my name is gonna be, it don't matter. Group name is the hottest shit on the motherfucking bulletin board. I ain't like how Funky Frank sound. Fuck you mean Funky Frank in the street force.
Yeah, man.
True Mathematics in the Invisible Empire, that sounded kind of dope. Son of Berserk and the Hellraisers, I was a little weird about that. What else was there? Young Black Teenagers.
Right.
It sounded a little corny.
Yeah, it's novelty.
Yeah, that didn't sound lit to me. And I was just like, all right, we got what we wanted with the group name, and we got the best group name out of everybody up here. So that really put me in a place of feeling better about the Busta Rhymes name. And I think once we finalized that, I think at that point it was just like, fuck it, we off to the horse races. It's go time. We'll revisit this Busta Rhymes shit in about 6 months to a year.
Right.
We gonna feel this shit out, but we leaders of the new school. Busta Rhymes ain't going on no damn advertisement by himself.
Right.
So I'm cool. And the moments that we was having leading up to getting the record deal, like, I don't know if you ever heard of this club called the Powerhouse, right? Powerhouse was a club that was really called The Building, but it was also called the Powerhouse. Amanda Shear Demi, which is the widowed wife of Ted Demi, who founded Yo MTV Raps, her and Jessica Rosenbaum. You ever heard of Jessica Rosenbaum?
No, I think I see credits, though.
Yeah, Jessica Rosenbaum and Amanda Shear Demi, they were the coolest and sexy promoters that they understood what that downtown scene in Manhattan, which was like this, it was like that nightlife environment downtown Manhattan. It had a lot of those, like, how do you properly describe it? The money was there. The preppy white kids or the cool white kids and the Jewish kids, and you know, you came from some sort of
a place to go to.
Right.
Party, yeah.
You go and party, but it was that type of motherfucker. You had they came from money.
Right.
And it was also, they was cool kids too. Like, you know, they was still hip hop motherfuckers, but
they threw their shit too, though.
Well,
like we had it out here.
Jessica and Amanda was in that scene first, from what I believe, because I wasn't in that scene.
Right.
We met them when they started to already be rocking shit in nightlife when it came to hip hop. So when I got with Jessica, she was already buzzing in nightlife with hip hop. And because of them having the relationships with the clubs and the promoters and being white and being Jewish and already having a rep and being smart as businesswomen, they ushered in this hip hop shit to get into these venues that they probably wouldn't have booked to anybody outside of them anyway.
Right.
So that's how Puffy was able to have his own night when he was throwing parties at this club called Daddy's House, at this club called Red Zone. That's how we was able to perform in the building / Powerhouse. This is how we was able to perform in this club in the Lower East Side of Manhattan called Payday. And these clubs were very instrumental to being able to create the buzz necessary to get the label bidding wars happening, because the fucking tastemakers was there, the execs was there, the cool kids was there.
The green lighters.
The green lighters, all the green lighters.
Yeah.
And all the hip hop motherfuckers, knowing this, pulled up to these spots to perform or to watch artists that they was fans of, or to get in tune with who was the new motherfuckers that they was hearing about but they ain't never seen yet.
Right.
And bag chicks, of course, rub elbows with some of these execs, and be in the coolest room in the motherfucking city. So we would rip down, like we established this dope relationship with Jessica and with Amanda Shear Demi. And then at some point, Amanda kind of phased out of it, and Jessica became the oracle of that space. Throughout the years of them putting us in these beautiful situations, right spots, right buildings, right crowds, right gatekeepers, right green lighters. One night in particularly, Dante Ross is at this club called Payday. We ripped this shit down, so legendary, bro. We get to the spot. We don't know shit about no fucking sound man and no mic man and no light man. We ain't got no money for production any motherfucking way. It's just raw hip hop. We coming through, the microphones is on, nigga, we getting busy.
Yeah.
We get to the spot, but this night in particularly, they got one mic. They ain't got 3 mics. We get there, we see the one mic. We get a little fucking frustrated, but like, yo, these niggas must think we the Temptations or some shit.
Like, circle around.
We just circle around the motherfucking mic and everybody gonna...
Yeah, when it's your part.
Face is gonna be this close as shit to spit. So we was like, fuck that. We got on some fucking pass the hot potato when it's your time to spit. So we rhyming, whoever was rhyming, you know, our level of going crazy on stage and shit. We back and forth everywhere, running from the right to the left, and motherfucker that finished their verse, they would throw that shit at whatever part of the stage you was at. You catch the mic. If you drop the motherfucker, you pick it up, and you start spazzing from whatever part of the stage you at, and you get busy, you throw that motherfucker around your back, the next motherfucker catch it, he over there hanging off a fucking pole, he spinning his shit, kicking a foot while he holding on the pole, and it just became something motherfuckers never saw. In the moment, we improvising though, because we just didn't want to do the Temptation looking shit.
Yeah, making it work.
Making it work. We get off the stage. Jessica go, somebody want to meet y'all. She bring over Dante. We still hyped because we knew we ripped it down, and we got other motherfuckers in the spot coming over, talking to us, bigging us up, dapping us and shit. Dante come over, and he goes, y'all motherfuckers is incredible. yo, what's your name again? We tell them leaders in the new school, but we do this shit in unison. Like we got our whole, the way we gonna interact with motherfuckers rehearsed. And by the time we finished this conversation, Dante was like, I wanna sign y'all, but I'm at Tommy Boy right now, and I'm in the transition because I'm leaving. I'm on my way to Elektra. When I'm finished my negotiation for that contract, I'm calling y'all for a meeting. By the time that motherfucking meeting happened, I'm kicked out the group. Busta Rhymes got the foot in his ass. You gotta get him out of here, nigga. Over some funny shit because, you know, at the time, they had these, you know, like the fucking Freakniks and shit.
Yeah,
And all of that type of shit. They had that with Jones Beach Greek Fest in New York. So every year, like Freaknik, the Jones Beach Greek Fest, all of the fraternities would come out, and all of the chicks would come out, and all of the black fraternities, and everybody on the beach, and there's ass everywhere. And the whole hood is pulling up to this shit. Back then, again, I ain't have no license. I'm moving with my hustler homies in Brooklyn. On the weekends, I would come back to Long Island when I wasn't with the homies on the weekends hustling, because my father still lived in Brooklyn when my mother moved us to Long Island, because they had divorced at that point. And when I'm in Brooklyn chilling with the bros, I come to Long Island and go to Jones Beach Greek Fest. Sometimes some of them will be with me. This one weekend in particularly, in this particular year that it was happening, you know, I was being put in a situation where it was like, you gotta choose, my nigga, because we need a ride to the Greek Fest. So if you don't pick us up, you out the group. That's what I got kicked out the group for the first time. So, you know, we young and we on our stupid shit anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I was like, I don't want to pick niggas up. I'm not niggas' chauffeurs. I know we in a group, but I don't want that responsibility at the end of the night, because you picking niggas up from 2-3 cribs, you got to drop everybody off to 2-3 cribs, and then I'm the only nigga that got to ride home by myself.
Right. With no license.
With no license.
Right.
Motherfucker.
I'm already driving different.
Know what I mean? So that's the first reason I got kicked out the group. But no problem. I'm going to start my solo shit, because now I done had enough practice writing my rhymes and shit. I done had enough practice. So now I get the call. C. Brown on the phone after he just kicked me out the group. I was out the group for probably like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. The gentleman that produced Wild for the Night for Rampage, his name is Backspin. He gave me Feminine Fat on the First Leaders album, and he gave me Show Me a Hero on the First Leaders album. And he did the beat for Too Much on My Mind on the First Leaders album, which is a song that Brown and Dinko was on without me. But I met the producer, Backspin, through Rampage, through Rampage and my man, Dion, who, Dion lived on Backspin Block, but Rampage had already been getting beats from Backspin, because I think Backspin was working with another artist that Rampage knew. And Rampage was just fucking with Backspin's production from that other artist that Ramp knew. Ramp put me onto that other artist too, but he put me on the Backspin. When I get with Backspin, he see what I'm doing already, and just a little buzz that's circulating on us from the clubs in the city and the downtown scene and Powerhouse, the Payday nightclub. So he tells me to come to his crib. He got some shit. So I go to his crib and I hear Feminine Fat beat. I said, I want that. Show Me a Hero beat. I said, I want that. Too Much on My Mind. I said, I want that. He gave me about 5 beats on a cassette tape, and we ended up using all three out of 5 of them shits. But what ended up happening before I got kicked out the group, Leaders had the beats too, because I gave them a copy. I brought it back to the table for us to do for the group, right? But when they kicked me out the group, I said, yo, Backspin, I'm starting a solo album with you, and you're gonna just produce the whole shit. He had the studio in his crib, it was convenient. I wasn't paying no studio time. We making the hottest shit. And then I get the call from Brown, and he goes, yo, we just had the meeting. We had the lecture. We had the meeting with Dante. I said, word? Yo, you want to be back in the group? What's going on here, niggas?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, what's going on? Like, he goes, you know, we got the opportunity. Dante want to see us the way he met us. So, are you with it to be back in the group? And I said, yeah, I'm with it to be back in the group, but check this out. I done started doing some of my own shit. I got 2 songs. If I come back to the group, these 2 songs gotta stay.
Gotta be on, yeah.
Feminine Fat, Show Me a Hero. They said, Brown said, all right, you talk to Dinko. And talk to Dinko, and then he hit me back and he was like, well, we got a joint that we did without you. It's called Too Much on My Mind. And then, matter of fact, it was 4 out of the 5 beats that we used because Brown's solo song on the First Leaders album is called What's the Pinocchio Theory?
Mm-hmm.
Backspin did that too. So Backspin got 4 joints on the First Leaders album. And he got Too Much on My Mind, What's the Pinocchio Theory, Feminine Fat, Show Me a Hero.
Did all y'all pick separate beats though? Because if it's 5 beats, you already recording.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got them. Nothing was doubled up?
Nothing was doubled up. Brown and Dinko did Too Much on My Mind. I didn't get to that one yet.
But you had never had where you just used the instrumental somewhere?
No.
Damn.
Nope. The 2 that I picked, they didn't pick that. The 2 that Brown picked, because he picked his solo song from that same tape and Too Much on My Mind from that tape, him and Dinko did, and I didn't get to that yet. I wanted to rhyme. I picked them 5. I wanted to rhyme on all of them shits.
You just hadn't made it to it yet.
I didn't make it to it. Those were gonna be the beats that I chose for my solo album, and I brought it to the group. So I was going back to those beats for my solo album, because I'm like, if I ain't in the group, then I'm taking them shits with me. When I got the call to be back in the group, that's when I was like, all right, I'm coming with these 2 songs because these are the only 2 that I made out of the 5 so far. And then Brown was like, well, we did this one without you. I did Pinocchio Theory with you know, as my solo joint because everybody had 1 solo song each. Mm-hmm. But I had 2. And them keeping Too Much on My Mind without me felt like the even trade with me having 2 solo songs. Now, Dinko got his own song, Brown got his own song, and then they got 1 together without me. So that felt like the even swap, right, the balance. So I come up there, we do the meeting. Dante says, I was so in love with y'all throwing that mic around and fucking hanging from shit and picking up the mic if it fell and not losing a step from where you left off in your rhyme. I knew that chemistry wasn't gonna be the same if it wasn't the way I saw it.
Right.
So I wasn't gonna sign the group if y'all wasn't gonna bring this back together. Cool. We rocking. We move forward. We signed a deal. We didn't have a conversation with Hank Shockley and Chuck D about doing a deal somewhere. Mind you, we was under their tutelage from 86 to 89. There was never no paperwork neither.
Right.
But you know, they gave us
just
the name.
Understandings and,
they gave us the group name.
Guidance.
Mentorship. They gave me my solo name. They brought us to open up for them at shows. But our families, my mother had worked for a law firm at the time. And she was on some shit like, we got to set this up like a real corporation. So we should have a meeting with everybody's parents and structure this. So she goes, I need to speak with C. Brown's mom. I need to speak with Dinko's mother and father, and I'm gonna call my sister, which is Milo's mom's, to come and we're gonna have this meeting. So we have this meeting. Boom, we're gonna form this corporation. It will be Leaders of the New School, Inc. We discussed this amongst each other. Dinko's father is gonna be, I believe, the one who keeps the minutes. I'm gonna be the president.
Christ.
My sister will be the vice president. C. Brown's mother will be the treasurer. And Brown's other brother, Mike, would be like the secretary of the corporation. And we're gonna have meetings once a month. We're gonna get this accountant, gonna deduct your taxes from.
Wow.
We're gonna put y'all on a salary. We're gonna deduct the taxes from the bi-weekly payroll salary, so you're never gonna owe the government, and you better budget the money that you get every 2 weeks as a payroll cycle. And we became employees of our own corporation. And this is how our business was structured from when we were 17.
Wow.
Yep.
And your mom had the wherewithal for all that.
All of that, because she worked for a law firm. So she was able to get the entertainment law information. She was a word processor. She saw a lot of contracts and shit. She was able to get mock-ups of how certain shit looked, whether it was on the entertainment side. She was able to align with whatever attorneys that was needed for whatever situation through the referrals because of the actual attorneys that were partners in the law firm she worked for, which was called Winston and Strawn at the time. And with this information that my mother had, the beauty of that allowed us to be blessed with having these parents that had shit in order for us crazy. So we was able to stack money, even though we had to split the shit up in 4 ways.
Right.
Learn discipline, learn budget, learn how to be responsible, learn how to reinvest into the business expenses that we needed so that we had outfits and wardrobe and shit that we needed to take care of when we went on these road trips rather. And we was able to pay ourselves and have the taxes covered and have money to pay the accountants and move like a real fucking business.
Yeah. Yeah, that's rare.
Super rare.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. I don't got that story of telling motherfuckers I come from struggle. Yeah, my family was middle class, hardworking Jamaican parents that wasn't playing with their family and wasn't playing with their children. And at the time, the ethics that was being upheld in the neighborhood was that the village was gonna come together to raise the baby. So if you fuck around and you violate, your neighbor had consent from your parents to whoop your ass,
for real.
and then you would get a second ass beating because you misrepresenting the way your parents is raising you. So if a neighbor busts your ass, you best believe your mother is going to tear your ass up again.
That's that 2nd and 2.
Motherfucking right.
Hell yeah.
That's that 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah.
Mic check, nigga. You getting that dose ass beating. And then that's the same environment that we grew around, that even when the gangsters and the hustlers and the extortionists and the shooters and the goons in the street, you know, they was children growing up under our parents or the parents in their age group.
And it was respectfully too.
That's what I'm saying.
Sorry, Miss Smith.
What? You smoking weed?
Yeah.
When they come off that bus with groceries in their hand,
carry it.
You put that weed away. You throw the cigarette away. You put the liquor down. If you was selling somebody a bag of weed or a nickel crack, you tell the fiend, get the fuck out of here. You go and you help that mother or that father with that grocery or them bags they carrying, assist them all the way to the crib, walk them in the crib, help put their shit away for them. Whoever didn't do it, it was fist and foot all in your face, and you got your shit broke up because You misrepresenting the respect you're supposed to have for the elders. You gotta respect the elder, period. That was just an understanding. This is what I'm saying, it was cool to be smart back then.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you did crazy, dumb shit.
Right.
You still was a smart motherfucker. You either had knowledge of self or you was on your pro-black shit and you was pro-empowering the people, or you just was making sure that the kids in the community understood that you gotta be raised a certain way in order to be around here, because accountability is real with us around here.
And you would see even the OGs tell you, no, don't get in the car.
That's a fact.
Or take your ass home.
Bro, that's what it was with me. I was hustling until they realized that I had this gift that I tapped into. Once I figured out that I could rhyme, them niggas ain't welcome me around none of that shit no more.
Yeah, man.
And threaten me.
Yeah.
Like, yo, if you find your way back over here, or we gonna fuck you up like you stole something that you still owe us.
Out of love.
Out of love. Out of a lot of love.
With leaders, man, when leaders take off, was there from the giddy up, there was problems with leaders.
Yeah.
But y'all was making something work.
Yeah.
You never seen the long picture with leaders because you knew.
No. I was in denial.
Right. Yeah. You know when something ain't right and you hoping for better? Yeah, man.
I ain't gonna lie.
Be greater later.
I cried when the group broke. I'm an emotional motherfucker. When I'm passionate about some shit, whether the tears is from anger or the tears from sorrow, bro, I don't hold my tears, bro. I don't do that. I don't know how to do that. Like if I'm really feeling a way about something, you know, I'm gonna cry about it.
So with the success of leaders, and is it a breakup or is it a kick out with Busta Rhymes after the success? With the album, with the tours, with the shows, with us knowing y'all names? How does that fall apart?
I don't even think that it had to fall apart.
Okay. It ran its course?
I think, because we didn't speak for a long, me and Brown didn't speak for a long time because I think it was more about pride than us actually being angry at the situation.
Were you scared at that time when you get a taste of success? And there's this thing, man, it's called From. And From is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like with me, I worked at Power 106 for 21 years.
Right.
I was big boy from Power 106.
Yeah.
When you're Busta Rhymes from Leaders of the New School, when you don't have that from, was that scary for you? Like, man, all I had to do is sometimes write a verse, then Dink and Charlie would kick in and they write their verse. Now, by force or by the movement, the sun, the moon, the stars, I'm a solo artist now. Was that a scary moment for you?
Extremely scary. That's why I said when I was getting to that earlier, I said I'm gonna get back to that later. Because I could not come up with a song for my solo album from 93 to about 95.
Right. But then you become the so-called assist leader too.
That's where, but see, this is how it happens, right? A lot of the greatest shit happens by default.
Yeah, default, necessity.
Or circumstance and necessity.
Yes.
Right? So, the reason why we dressed the way we dressed was because we didn't have the money to afford the Fila Italia suits that was $500, $600 at the time. We didn't have Dapper Dan budget.
Right.
So we got cool with this Muslim brother in our neighborhood named Rashid Booth. Rashid Booth, love you and I salute you, King. Because he still rock with us. He still rock with me, you know what I'm saying? And my man Torre, Al-Hassan Torre from Torre Designs, and my man Sugar J from Members Only. They play a significant role in me and Spliff wardrobe that y'all see us do or have done for the last 20 years. 25 years, excuse me. The circumstances of not having the bread to buy the fly shit, fortunately, our beloved Rashid Booth, our Muslim brother, introduces us to going to the fabric district and telling us we only need fucking 6 yards of some fabric at $5 a yard. That's $30. You get the fabric, you want a motherfucking extra piece of fabric so you can take that same material and cover it up over a pair of Timberlands and make your Timberlands look like some exclusive shit that don't exist nowhere? We could do that too. $35. I know this motherfucking tailor, this custom designer, that nigga ain't gonna charge more than $30 to make the fucking fit. You just spent $65 on some one of one that nobody ain't gonna look like because it's a one of none.
Mm-hmm.
While you spent your money, $500-600 on that fila suit that about 4 niggas gonna come in the same party you at with the shit on.
And don't make it the hot shit. Because if it's the hottest shit, you're like, oh yeah, that's guaranteed.
You know what I'm saying? So
but it's crazy how people look at you as fashion, and you did fashion out of necessity.
Necessity. And the styles and the crazy fits that was made was because I'm looking at the inspiration of dancehall artists.
Mm-hmm.
Shabba Ranks, Papa San, Lieutenant Stitchie, Admiral Bailey, Professor Nuts, Lecturer, Tiger, all of these motherfucking geniuses, Ninja Man.
Right. Not rocking a Nike, a Gucci.
None of that.
At the time.
They going to get their fabrics.
Yes.
Linens, silks, fucking shark skins.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers is pulling up with the washcloth out the back pocket. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the drip. And you had, you know, they got the big fucking chain on.
Right.
You got the motherfucking ballies to match.
Right.
Your silk shirt got to match the color of the ballies. And you got a Kango that got to match the color of the ballies and the silk shirt. Or you got a mean linen that got some ill fucking cuts through the middle of the shirt. This shit is oversized, but it got an ill design that look crazy. Same shit on the bottom of your feet, your pants, and you jumping around on the fucking stage, hand shooting the fucking gun. Mic over here, foot going this way, foot going that way. And you barking on niggas. And I'm looking at, we used to cut school and look at these dancehall concerts where these dudes would be battling each other. They call them shit sound clashes. And these artists would be tearing down 20, 30,000 motherfuckers at like Sting International Sound Clash is a festival that would happen once a year in Jamaica. It's where the most legendary battles between dancehall artists would happen. And I took a lot of that shit.
Yeah, man.
As inspiration, went to the fabric district, got my fabrics, told Rashid, look at these motherfuckers. We want our shits to look like this, but that, again, remember I told you I moved out to Long Island looking like the kid that had the mixture between the dancehall artists and hip hop. I applied the same shit when we got on. Then, as the dreads was growing longer, remember I told you we sleep with the fan in our face because I'm a hot blood. My kids is a hot blood, my mother. The dreads got long. If we doing shows and we touring somewhere in the fucking summer, I don't want a bunch of hair on my neck and my shoulders. It's making me hot.
So?
Put the hair up for me, please, hairstylist. I don't even know how they gonna put my shit up. But they started to create these styles out of necessity. I didn't want to feel the fucking hair on me when I'm hot. It would put the shit up in these styles. I'm looking at these shits in the mirror, and I'm like, this shit look fucking ill, yo. What made you think of putting my shit up like this? I don't know. You said put it up, right?
Hey, man, it's crazy, Buzz, because you had
I'm not finished. The features, like you said.
Yeah.
I was the first one in Leaders to have a child, and I was the youngest one in the group.
Had to.
So when I couldn't show up to the venues no more to get money from performing because they was booking the group as leaders, I wasn't a solo artist yet, couldn't get no show money. The promoters is like, yo, I ain't booked 2/3 of you motherfuckers. Where the third rapper at? Brown wasn't coming to none of the shows. Me and Dinko sometimes would go and try to still get the bag.
Right.
Nigga, we could do our verses. I didn't book 2/3 of you motherfuckers. Beat it. You come back with your man, we book y'all again next time, but we want the whole shit. That's what we paying for. So with that being said, I done got cool with a few of these studios. I done got cool with a few of these receptionists at these studios. I done got cool with a few of these engineers in these studios. And this is pre-Dro, pre-Chronic. It got that beautiful chocolate, indica, skunk, zest, tie stick. That's the type of weed that existed at the time. The bags that still had the seeds in it.
Right.
You roll a motherfucker up, pop, that shit pop when the fire hit the motherfucker. I would go and throw $100 on 5 20 bags of chocolate tie. Go get me that motherfucking White Owl cigar. It's the slowest burning cigar. Pull up to the studio, my weed burning already. Go in these different doors. It was good, because I would find out, I would call a receptionist and find out who was going to be in what studio.
You was good with them.
Based who's working in those buildings is that'll determine what studio I'm going to pull up to. That'll determine whose session I'm going to crash. When I get in a session, the weed is already steaming. The chocolate smelling good steaming off the motherfucking weed. I'll pass the shit around. Nigga can't kick me out the room. You got my weed, I'm gonna sit in this corner, I'm gonna write my rap, and I'm gonna be grunting on one, doing all my Dungeon Dragon sounds in the corner, nigga. You gonna feel this motherfucking energy while you smoking my weed.
Yeah.
You can't tell me to leave, and then you gonna come over here and inquire what the fuck is all this grunting that I got going on over here in this corner.
So you literally over there.
Pardon me. All that shit going on in the corner, and a nigga wanna hear it. Nigga wanna hear it. Okay, let me go in the booth. You can't, I ain't saying it to you out here. Put me in the booth. I go in the booth, I spit my shit. I'm sizzling with the dragon right now because Scenario is out already.
Oh, shit.
So everybody want the Dungeon Dragon right now. Right. So I can walk in sessions, I'm ready to nigga
y'all
that
do
motherfucker.
Scenario as leaders.
As leaders.
Right. And you showed your ass.
It's disrespectful when we do it together.
Like with Scenario, a mixed DJ couldn't cut out the record.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know how usually like you'll get a verse or two, but it was like, I gotta play this motherfucking record till Bus come on.
But see, that was the difference between then and now, right? Back then, it wasn't no play a minute of the song and mix show and then switch the song.
Yeah, you played it.
You played the whole shit because the MCs that had the best rhyme went last. Scenario, I'm last.
Right. Was that a problem? Or
Flavor in Your Ear, I'm last. Bunch of niggas on the fucking Blue Funk album with Heavy D, I'm last. Mind you, Biggie was on that song. Guru was on that song. They put the nicest verse last. Mind you, I was rhyming on these songs before everybody was on it, so I didn't even rhyme in the last verse space intentionally.
So Scenario, it wasn't like you guys were in the studio and you went last.
Well, there was a different set of circumstances there. Q-Tip, you know, he was big bro to me. So, you know, whatever he said, I kind of listened to what he said. So he came over and wanted to hear my rhyme because he heard me doing all of that grunting in the corner.
Right.
That nigga was like, what you got, nigga? That shit sounded like you going crazy over there. So I said the rhyme to him. And he started telling everybody about my rhyme because we was all in a room together. The motherfuckers is, you know, the anxiety started building because now everybody want to hear my shit. And I'm like, nope, I ain't saying it to none of y'all. Until I get in the booth. Because I also didn't want nobody feeling like they going to take this opportunity to go and start doing the switcheroo, my nigga. You're not doing the switcheroo. You keep the same energy you had before Q-Tip came over there and started talking that shit.
So the Scenario verse that we heard, is that the Scenario verse that you writing right there in that room?
In the moment, in that room, exactly what you heard is what I created.
Take me in the booth right now. You got the headphones.
Yeah.
You hear this motherfucker going.
Yeah.
What comes out your mouth?
As I combine all the juice from the mind, heal up, wheel up, bring it back, come rewind. Powerful impact, boom from the cannon. Not bragging, try to read my mind, just imagine. Vocabulary's necessary when thinking in the mind library. Oh my God, oh my God. Eating I toast too like the one Peter Tasha. All over the track, man. Pardon me. As I come back, as I did a grunt, I had to beg your pardon. When I traveled through the town, I rolled with the squadron. Rawr, rawr, like a dungeon dragon. Change your shitty drawers cause your pants are sagging. Try to step to this, I will twist you in a turban. Have you smelling rank like some old stale urine. Chocolatey choco. The chocolate chicken, because you know back then chicks was chicken heads.
Oh my, yes.
Chocolate chicken is a black woman. A rear cock diesel, but cheeks they was kicking. Yo, bust it out before the bust another rhyme. The rhythm is in sync. Vibes are on time. Ripping up the sound just like a ratio. I just lost my head at that point. That shit didn't even make no sense. Ripping up the sound just like a ratio. Observe the vibe and check out the scenario. And that was that moment.
Bus, I got fucking chills right now, bro. Oh my God.
Bro, I had my son at that point.
Hey, bro, that almost sounds do or die.
It was do or die. I was scared as a young father, the youngest in the group to be a father, and just understanding that I was the one that had to deal with the instability of being my spot in the group.
Right.
Felt like it wasn't solidified.
Right.
And that's also what led me to always ending up on these Tribe Called Quest songs. As you can see, I got a shitload of collabs and features with Tribe.
Why?
I was bothered and I was hurt every time I was going through the bullshit with Brown. Too much arguing and conflict and disrespect and beef. And the good thing is, I love him and we brothers. We good now. Mm-hmm. But for 19 years, we didn't speak behind all of this shit that I'm sharing with y'all now. 19 years. Mm-hmm. But every time we had an argument, it was always over the inquiries that I was getting for features and collabs. And the way the understanding started was, yo, any one of us, in fact, all three of us, including Malo, because Malo started rhyming too. He started off as a DJ, but that nigga started rhyming too. You know, everybody go and rep. Just say Leaders of the New School name.
Right, and bring it back home.
And bring it home.
Come home.
Because if four of us is collabing with artists on different records and niggas is hearing LONS, Leaders of the New all the time, then that means it's more than just one look happening from one collab.
But did the requests start becoming,
it definitely became imbalanced after Scenario.
Right.
Completely.
And I know the answer.
But the tension wasn't with Dinko. The tension wasn't with Malo. It was just with Brown.
Right.
Me and Brown, we super good now. I love my brother. We in an amazing place now. But we broke up when I got kicked out the group the last time. We ain't speak for 19 years. So, you know, like when you say that I was doing shit from a place of desperation.
Right.
It was
necessity, fear, yeah.
Everything was desperation. I had this beautiful firstborn. I'm scared as hell to do a project by myself. I gotta figure out how to get these verses done because I ain't ready to do no song yet, and I still gotta feed my babies.
Right.
I said, I'm gonna improvise. I'm gonna get myself into these studio rooms. I'm gonna find my way on these songs. I'm gonna do these records, and I'm gonna just send the invoices later. Because once they hear the verses on these records, once I finish handling my business, they can't hear the song without the verse no more anyway.
Can't say take bus off.
You can't say take bus off. I'm not letting that happen. So again, like we was talking about how a lot of these milestone moments that were created from just things that I was doing that became trademark shit and legend shit and iconic moments and milestones with the hairstyles that was being put up because I was hot. The clothes and the way we made the clothes because I ain't had the money to afford designer line shit. The verses on everybody's record because I'm running from doing and taking on the responsibility of a solo project, but still trying to find the means to provide for my child.
This is like the hustle. When
This
people
is a
say
super duper
like
hustle.
if you in your dope game, this is how.
All the way.
Yeah, this is how I'm feeding my family.
All the way. And I was able to get, if I did 4 or 5 verses a week, and I'm charging every verse between $7,500 and $20,000 a month.
Right.
I'm breaking the bank so stupid, and the beautiful part is I ain't splitting it with nobody.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure when somebody hears something,
It
that
was
start
just
to go
the
and
snowball turned into a fucking glacier. And the more features started circulating at the same time, the more requests came. To the point where the request came for me to just talk, not even rhyme. Like I ain't even rhyme on 411. Mary's first album, I just talked.
Yeah.
I just talked on Missy's first album. I was getting called to just speak.
Bus, is that the gift and the curse though?
What?
And by that I mean, you doing so well with now as the assist leader. All I gotta do is knock one verse out. Are you still not as comfortable like, shit, I gotta do every verse now? If I'm doing 3, 4, if I'm doing a song, I gotta do every verse. So is there a gift and a curse where it's like, I can make this money, but you still gotta do your own album? Were you still in your own way with that too?
I definitely was still in my own way because I overthought everything when it came to whatever I had to do past the 16.
Right. And then you're in competition with yourself.
Absolutely. And not only was I in competition with myself, I was also afraid of being told that what I'm doing ain't as dope as the group.
Boom. I was gonna ask. Yes, bro.
That shit scared the shit out of me. To the point where I didn't make a song. All right. I'm shooting higher learning. It got so bad with me being stagnant creatively, outside of a 16, I called Q-Tip to come to LA and babysit my studio session, produce and supervise how I make songs, because I can't figure this shit out, even though I done made songs by myself. I done did Show Me a Hero by myself. I did Feminine Fat by myself. You know, I can do it. I'm feeling a different responsibility, a different pressure. I think in particularly too, at this time, I don't think people know, but the way they did our deals then was, and they probably still doing it like that now, but you know, when you sign as a group, they also sign you as an individual. So when the group break up, you're still stuck in the same situation. Well, Leader's first album, the budget for that first album was $135,000.
To make it all work.
To make the whole album happen. I think the advance was probably $30,000. We had to bust that shit down 4 ways. When I did my solo album, Coming, my budget for the whole album was $250,000. 250. So I'm looking at, I'm getting $250,000. I ain't got to split this shit with nobody.
Right.
And my advance was $75,000. I'm looking at this shit as way better than the Leader situation. I ain't got to split shit with a motherfucker.
Right.
And I'm on fire right now. Because Flavor in Your Ear comes after Scenario. Scenario was 92, 91. 92 was Scenario Remix. And then all of the little features in between Scenario and Scenario Remix and Flavor in Your Ear.
Oh my God.
And then Flavor in Your Ear come. And I'm so sizzling that when Puff called me to get on a song, I told Puff I ain't rhyming on the record unless my little cousin Rampage could get on it. Because now, when I got kicked out the group, a lot of people don't know, Dallas Austin, you know, he heard what was happening and he reached out to me. And Dallas is a fan of all of us. At the time, too, Dallas was sizzling, too. Dallas Austin, 18-year-old, $4 million studio that he owned in Atlanta.
Right.
And this motherfucker had about fucking $6 million worth of cars in front of the studio. That's $10 million.
Yeah.
He ain't rhyming on no record. He a producer. Unless you know Dallas, you don't know what he look like.
Right.
You don't know what he sound like.
Right.
At this time. But he's producing Boys to Men. They selling 10 million copies on their shit. He producing TLC.
Yeah,
They
man.
selling 10 million copies on their shit. He producing Another Bad Creation. They selling about 3-4 million on their shit. I'm like, this shit is different. What the fuck he got going on is different. So he tell me come down and, you know, till I figure it out, I could come in DARP studio, I could have a room, make beats. You know, I'm gonna give you some projects to work on. I gave Jamal, Little Jamal and Malik the group name Illegal.
Yes, sir.
I gave them that name because I was seeing them do shit that was just unfathomable.
Right.
At their little age.
Yeah.
Dallas did the same for Eric Sermon when him and PMD broke up. Had him come down there and help them get his shit together to produce Illegal too and all this other shit.
And he did a whole different flip same.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And got his mind right to start Def Squad. When Andre Harrell let Diddy go, Dallas said, come down here, brother. He walked that Diddy brother of ours into the motherfucking office to sit down with Clive Davis and get that monster bag to start
And the rest
Bad
is
Boy.
history.
It's history after that. But this is what I'm saying. Dallas has been a conduit to a lot of us in our evolution. Because he gave me my first production deal, which in turn allowed me to become an executive now.
Yes, sir.
And start Flip Mode Entertainment.
Conglomerate.
All of that. I didn't have that mentality.
Gotcha.
I knew this to put artists on. That's why we had New School Society. And we put on the Rumpelstiltskins and the Cracker Jacks.
Gotcha.
They all got on Sound of the Zekas on the First Leaders album.
Hey, man, so when you tell Puff, like, you got to did he know Rampage or he just knew you were that nice, like, bro, we got to, and Rampage, that's the last Boy Scout, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
So,
he heard
because Rampage already ridiculous anyway.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
this definitely ain't no charity shit. This ain't like you took, you know, the newspaper boy and say, hey, man, cut him a break.
That's a fact.
You know, so and then when you sitting on there with lyricists anyway,
serious.
You got to show up for yourself, not show up for Cousin, not show up for Bad Boy, not show up for Craig, not for LL. You know what I'm saying? It's like
fact. And Rampage, I can't recall if Diddy heard Ramp at the time.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm just cool like that. Yeah, that motherfucker boy.
Yo, let me tell you, I said to Diddy,
oh my God,
just let him spit. If you like the verse, we keep it.
Yeah,
if you
man.
don't like it, fuck it.
Right.
Yeah, how the nigga Diddy did me. Nigga, you got to waive your verse fee if you want me to put your cousin on. So I rocked it for free too.
Whoa. Just because, like you knew.
I wanted to position
Let me invest.
I'm going to sacrifice for him to get right, and this going to be the prerequisite to set him up to come
And
with
you was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get mine on the back end.
I'm going to get it.
I'm going to get mine.
I'm going to get that motherfucker for sure. And the look was so huge for Rampage.
Yeah, bro.
Then I put him on the Coming album, and we did Abandoned Ship together. Motherfucker came for that Wild for the Night, though.
Oh, my God. But that's also the setups.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The setups, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Like, and it's crazy, man, how when you look back and it's the universe and how people say it was written, it is.
It absolutely is.
It is written,
Ain't
bro.
nothing coincidental.
Yeah.
It's
You could plan, hope, and wish.
You gotta identify with the fucking gift and purpose you're supposed to walk in
bro.
and do it in a very uncompromising way.
And think about what could have been the problem that became the profit. When you go somewhere and they say we only got one mic, we don't get down with one mic.
Real shit.
Oh no, we fucking our show up. No, y'all was like, nah, give us that one mic.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Fuck you mean?
Even Nas was like, give him one mic.
Yeah.
Yo, but give me that one mic. And from that tattoos a motherfucker like Dante's brain.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So when you get those moments and the rearview mirror is a motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
The windshield. And when we think about Busta Rhymes, there's so much macho and arrogance and not knowing, like, dude was scared.
Oh yeah, I was scared to death.
Dude was doubtful.
Very scared.
We could still believe, but when that silent voice, when it's quiet and you think like, man, what am I gonna do now?
Mm-hmm.
And whatever, like I still operate out of fear. I know what it is to be homeless. I know what it is to be broke. I know what it is to live in a motel. It was 7 kids and my mom single parent. So I know when motherfuckers say, oh man, you good. How many times have people said, oh man, you good. You got the hottest shit. You're like, nah.
Oh yeah.
Nah.
That's a fact.
Nah. You know, even your shows, Bus. Like, where in the fuck did you and Spliff meet?
I met Spliff. All right. Like I said earlier, in this particular area of East Flatbush, I lived in the 30s. Spliff lived in the 40s, right? Mm-hmm. 32nd between Tilden and Beverly is the in the 30s, me, Rampage, Lord Have Mercy, Special Ed. We in the 30s.
Oh, so this is kid shit damn near.
I met Spliff when I was 7. Let me tell you something. Me and Spliff, right? We met on Spliff's block and Scratcher Tour's block. My cousins, the Burrows, my Aunt Zonia, my Uncle Tony, my cousin Zanab, my cousin Eric, Michelle, Tashi, Mike, rest in peace, Mike. They had the most fun house to be at on that block. When my father had his weekends to pick me up for visitation, a lot of the times it wasn't as fun as my father's crib because it's just him there.
Right.
On Zonia and Uncle Tony crib, they got 5 kids. They're all older than me, but I'm still able to hang out with them and do the shit that I ain't allowed to do around my father and I ain't allowed to do around my auntie and my uncle. Mm-hmm. So I'm outside with them doing all the bullshit we ain't supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. That shit was fun. Now, at the end of the day, the shit that we would do, and then Spliff being in the neighborhood, and Scratcher Tour being in the neighborhood, and them same hustlers we talking about that we grew up under and started doing shit with and got in trouble with, all of that really came from that block. Some of it came from my block, but a lot of it came from that block.
Was Spliff around during Leaders?
I knew Spliff since I was 7, so I knew him before Leaders.
Yeah,
but he wasn't with the group shit.
Right.
Spliff was a star in his name in the area that him and Scratch and my aunt and uncle and cousins was at, because Spliff was in the street in a very serious way. Spliff was in it. Spliff then got shot a couple times. Spliff then got stabbed a couple times. Spliff, you know, he did time in jail. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful that I was in a situation where I was blessed enough to save Spliff.
Right. When did you see that you and Spliff had a chemistry though? Because I can blindfold both of y'all. And y'all can go into some shit and guarantee I could play it back to you and both of y'all be like, oh, at the same time. Like, bro, you know how there's just some motherfuckers, and Spliff, you don't call Spliff a hype man. Mm-mm. You know how there's just some motherfuckers that's like, oh my God.
Nah, Spliff was an MC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spliff is
And
an
you've
MC.
seen that early on, too.
Yeah, Spliff is an MC. The thing is, Spliff wasn't rhyming when I was in Leaders. He wasn't even rhyming.
Right.
Spliff was just in the street acting crazy.
Surviving, doing what he doing, yep.
Spliff decided to rhyme when he really fell in love with Onyx.
Really, though? Yeah.
Spliff,
He was like, now I understand.
Spliff fell in love with Onyx.
Right.
And interestingly, the reason why he loved Onyx was because, you know, they was able to ball their head and be cool.
Yeah.
Spliff was ready to ball his head a little bit prior to Onyx putting their shit out. But Onyx came after Leaders, so Spliff kind of felt like there was a lot of similarity with the energy because we was on that shit from 91. And Onyx came after us. And when they cut their hair and when they came out as a bald head group with all of that energy they had in them, they had incredible records. That Back the Fuck Up album is one of the most incredible albums to me.
Oh, yeah, bro.
Spliff was in love with that. And that inspired Spliff to really get to his shit because he was ready to ball his head too. But the thing about it, what made me and Spliff become cool was some funny shit because at my aunt and uncle crib, they used to keep these fake weddings with the girl that you would have a crush on from the neighborhood. So if there was a little girl, you know, in your age group, and when our birthday came, my cousin Eric, his birthday is 2 days before mine. He's May 18th, I'm May 20th, right? So my Aunt Zonia, which is Eric's mom's, she would have these fake weddings. So Eric got a cousin named Janice, and I had a crush on Janice, and I guess Spliff had a crush on Janice, but this year, and particularly for my birthday, I had my fake wedding with Janice. And nigga Spliff was tight. Nigga Spliff went outside, playing around with the other kids. After we finished doing what we doing, I'm going downstairs to play with the kids too. And nigga Spliff slapped the shit out of me.
Oh, how old are y'all around that time?
I'm about 7 years old. Spliff like 8, 9 years old.
So you start talking, he start turning you down and shit. You was like, hey. That motherfucker start turning you up like, if you ever seen him live, trust me.
Nah, this is the best shit. The way it fucks people up, especially and big up to 50 Cent for bringing us out there with him on that Final Lap tour. Because what I was alluding to was not only was that probably the most incredible tour
and you been
that
on
I've
many.
ever been on. I've been on many. And I'm saying that because every night, every arena was sold out, 20,000 and better. And I've never been on a tour for 5 months. We did the first show July 21st. My last show was November 21st. He's still on that same tour.
Yeah, man. When that motherfucker said world tour.
50 is not, like, that's one thing, he don't play with that work. And ever since he first came to Violator and the first Get Rich or Die Trying came out, he was the only one that would jump on a fucking jump on a plane like the shit was a cab.
Right. Go get it.
That motherfucker don't got no problem flying 20 hours somewhere and coming back home the next day. 20 hours.
Yeah.
That's fit.
Tour all scheduled wrong.
He don't
like,
give
man,
a
you know
fuck.
you could have did San Diego, then LA, then there.
He don't care.
Yeah, man.
And this is how he was from the beginning. Like he, you know, so being on that tour and being able to do all of those antics every night, the way it was received was phenomenal, bro.
And your energy, bro. And we've had many conversations about this. I told you one time, bro, when, you know, I think is it break your neck when y'all start when y'all do the jog and y'all do the jog in place and then you command and demand this energy. We've had you booked on so many of our shows that I would hear people look at the list, and this is on everything. We had these conversations, and they would say, I'm not coming on after Busta. Literally. I'm not coming. And it seems like, Bus, you don't have to headline. You're not some people that say, oh, no, I got a headline.
Yeah,
I got a headline.
I've never been that guy. I don't care
because
who you put me on.
Why?
Because you're going to get your ass handed to you regardless what time you put us on.
Bro.
Just make sure when you put us on, the venue is full.
Yeah, bro. Give me that energy.
Give me that energy back, because it's a real, it's a give and receive thing.
Yeah, man.
It's like that electricity that is moving between the portals in order to make whatever that electricity is needed for.
I need your energy.
I need that shit.
I know you want mine. I'm giving that to you.
And now give it back.
Yeah, give me some more.
That's why when you say, that's what. No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like when you say, and I told that motherfucker to get his motherfucking fat ass up.
Yeah.
If I could see that you're not even trying to give the energy back, it's one of two things to me. It feels like either you don't appreciate what we giving you, and you see that we doing everything short of just physically grabbing you, and shaking you like this. If we giving you that much, you came out to motherfucking be a part of this feel good energy. You know what you pulling up for.
And your shit not charity. Your shit, you know, like your shit is earned.
Thank you, King.
And anybody that see you, only thing that you could say to Bus is you can compare Bus to another Busta Rhymes show.
Thank you, King.
That's it. Like, oh yeah, well, that night we were blue. Oh, okay.
It's my motherfucking type of talk, right?
But that's
there,
real
Godfather.
shit, man. And I can't tell you, and I watch you from the audience. And I remember, man, the first time my wife saw you in concert, we went together, right? And I remember, dude, she was sitting there, bro, and my wife was like this, standing up, of course, because I didn't want you to yell at her. She was standing up, dude, and dude, she was just, and I remember her looking at me, and she was just laughing, and that's when you was,
Oh yeah,
and you was, and
right
she was
now.
like, oh my God, what it is right now? Hey, bro, and I'm telling you, my daughter, 15, Bus, my daughter been on you for years.
Love that,
because
man.
there's just something with this energy, bro.
Yeah, bro.
And I love seeing that. When we talk about 50 years of hip hop, right? Not only have you been a part of hip hop for many years, but you've been a part of hip hop professionally for more than half of the years.
Thank you, King.
that hip hop has existed.
Absolutely.
When we think about leaders and stuff, 1991, that's like, bro, careers are here today, gone tonight.
Real talk.
So when you see a legend, and when I seen you get recognized on BET, and was that Lifetime Achievement?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was emotional for you. You said, man, I'm an emotional guy. Why was it that emotional for you, that they let you breathe and you took your time, bro? And we saw not Busta Rhymes, the MC, the performer. We saw the human being. We saw the father. We saw how important it was. The accolades are dope, and that's what that award is for. But we saw someone look at his kids and the sacrifices that we make for our babies, bro. Why was it so important, and why was it that emotional to you when you got that honor, as opposed to, I deserve it?
There was some I deserve it feeling in it, too.
Of course.
I'm never going to give anybody
Yeah,
any
it wasn't
false
given
truth.
to you. It wasn't just like, you know,
It made a nigga
we didn't
work.
shake something up and
Bird.
threw it out.
It made a motherfucker work. And I was told, you know, not this year for probably like 2-3 years in a row. I was told not this year. And I didn't complain, you know, but I just felt like I'm seeing peers that came after me getting shit before me.
Right.
You know, and I'm just saying, I don't know what left there. I don't know what else.
What am I supposed to do?
Oh, yeah, like the only
You gonna
thing
keep
left,
doing it.
Only thing left for me, I'm gonna do this shit regardless, but I'm saying before y'all give me my flowers, only thing left for me to do at this point is swallow the gunpowder and a match on some Daffy Duck shit, blow myself up, let y'all niggas watch my spirit float away before y'all give me my motherfucking flowers.
Right. Don't hashtag me either.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So The first thing that was the biggest thing for me, again, and I've said it before, but you know, me and you talking for the first time like this, there's a lot of shit people getting from this conversation that I've never articulated in any other conversation that I've had about this before, because this ain't no interview, this is a conversation with my fucking brother.
Yes, sir.
I got the comfort to say shit to you that I don't get it from I can't get it from nowhere else. 6 kids, 4 baby mothers, and they're great mothers to my children, by the way. And being in your 20s and these pregnancies and these beautiful children are being conceived around when disaster strikes on. Especially when those albums and them singles was out. Put Your Hands in.
Oh.
The ascension that was starting to happen, it just kept getting crazier and crazier.
And there's only one you.
One me, and one me that still didn't know shit about life. And I'm learning as I'm going along. And I'm getting a shitload of money. And I'm extremely on fire in the whole country and across the pond. And I'm doing so much shit the wrong way that the accountability for it became overwhelmingly real. We know we gotta be accountable for everything, but it's a different thing when you got one woman pregnant, one child coming. Maybe you ain't ready for that. Maybe you ain't prepared for that. You got one already, but then you got 3 children coming months apart because there's 3 women that's pregnant at the same time. You just had a child not too long ago. Because my oldest son, had him in 93. So if 97, these other babies are starting to happen months apart. And within 10, 11 months, 12 months, all 3 of them is here.
Yeah.
Because they're just months apart.
Yeah.
I'm fucking losing my shit. And the conflict with the mothers was very real.
Right. Because you're young, they're young,
They're
it's
young.
real shit, right.
A lot of bad advice, listening to friends, people getting in your ears, lawyers, courthouses, forensics accounting. You're being court ordered and judges is ordering you to pay everybody's attorney. Child support is modified based on the different laws depending on the state that these babies are being born in. And I'm nervous as hell because I want to be a great dad, but I'm not ready to be a dad any more than the dad that I already am with 1, let alone 4.
Right.
So, the circumstances of me not knowing how to deal with this shit, all I could do is float with the way the current of the water is gonna take me. Keep my faith unwavered, have the realest conversations that I could with my moms, because got to the point where me and the mothers of my children were not speaking at all. And talk to my pops, talk to my brother. And just see how it's gonna play out. And for a long time, you know, I was I wasn't able to be around.
Mm-hmm.
I may not have realized the pain that I might have caused the mothers or my children as they was getting older to start to understand. And I don't think a lot of people realize the pain that was being caused for me too. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of things that happened in the way that they did, it didn't have to. But a lot of years was lost with me not being in the right space with my children. A lot of things and time was lost with me not being able to see my children, not talk to my children. My relationship wasn't like that with all of my children, but it wasn't the best with like 2 of my daughters and 1 of my sons.
Right. And one's too many. Yeah.
It shouldn't even get to 1.
What about the sacrifices, bro? Like, I saw a clip where you were talking about, you know, because as a dad, as the breadwinner, we got to go out and we got to get it.
Absolutely.
And we think, man, we got to get it. We got to go get it. We got to go get it.
Yeah.
You know, whatever that motivation may be. I'm doing this for you. And
Right.
we think that early on. Then we get some years and you know what I'm saying? Then we realize, like, damn. But I saw a clip where you're talking about missing your oldest son's graduation.
Yeah.
And as a father and a provider, I got to go get this.
Yeah.
But then you think about, like, damn. And you explain how you could have been there. You threw the party.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People showed up. But as a dad, you were like, I don't think that was it.
It wasn't it. Because I didn't realize how much it bothered him until I got home and after we did the party for him and some weeks passed, to see that, and he was happy and he appreciated everything.
Right.
But my kids ain't really, to Zaya in particularly, he's not good at not wearing his emotions on his face and on his sleeves. He won't speak if he's fucked up about something, but you will see it and you will feel it. And the silence is loud. The silence is so loud. And I hated that feeling. And I hated the way I knew I made him feel. And that was like a real serious moment where in my mind I realized that I needed to get to the root of what was causing me outside of the circumstances, right? What is causing me to think that this is the only way that the sacrifice is worth making? It gotta be another way with a sacrifice, being that we understand the sacrifice has to be made under the circumstances. There gotta be other ways to make the sacrifice, but it still shouldn't always have to be at the expense of your children's peace of mind and happiness.
And you know what, Bus, too? It's like when we know better, we do better. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing we're just like, damn, we can't rewind the time. But it's like, man, I'll never make that mistake again.
And that's why people are seeing what they seeing.
Right.
That's why I'm bringing my babies everywhere with me.
Yeah, man.
And you know what's the beautiful thing about it? It wasn't like this in the past. I couldn't bring him with me. He had to focus on school, or I couldn't bring him with me because he wasn't old enough to move with me.
Mm-hmm.
My kids is grown now.
Right.
They could pull up anywhere they want. I can't stop them from coming in any club with me. I can't stop them from flying to any country with me. I ain't got, they don't need babysitting to fly and meet me in another country on their own. There's no excuse for why we ain't rocking as the family that we supposed to rock as for the rest of our years here.
How do you feel now? Just, I mean, everything, bro. Weight-wise, mentally, look great physically, sharp as a motherfucking tack. You know what I'm saying? Like, no expiration date.
Thank you, King.
Until you want to sit down, bro. Still killing them on stage.
Thank you,
still killing them in the booth. Your fingertips on the hip hop is fucking ridiculous when you hear the album and the people that came to fuck with you too, Blockbuster. Come on, bro.
Thank you, King.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
man.
It's understandable why people want to fuck with you, bro. You have been nothing but pure energy, bro. And you know, you hear people that say, oh, you know, Elephant Man, like there's people that's just energy gods.
Yeah.
And you're an energy god, bro.
Thank you,
I know
King.
when I see you, you're gonna give people time.
Thank you.
You're gonna embrace.
Thank
you're gonna hug. You're gonna look a motherfucker right in their face.
No question.
And you a man too, though.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't fall for no okie dokes and no bullshit.
Yeah.
But man, when your aura and characters, what's being said about you when you're not in the room.
Wow.
People speak motherfucking well about you when you're not in the room. And I'm talking about from 8 to 80.
Thank you, King.
They speak well, brother. And how do you feel now, though, Bus? Like, spiritually, mentally, you look amazing. Like I said, bro, there's no expiration date.
Thank you, King.
Sharp as a fucking tack, man. Blockbuster, you still deadly sin with a pen. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you feel?
I'm happy as hell, bro. And I have never been this happy in my life.
Wow.
Bro, I'm in the studio making records with my children. I used to just have to make these records for my children, and I say it at the end of the song. I got a daughter that played classical piano. I got a son that rhyme. I got a daughter that sings. I got a son that is an MMA fighter, and he's a producer. And he produced records for me that I ain't even shared with the world yet. Me and Talib Kweli on it, and produced joints with me and other super artists on. 2-3 joints I got with him in the Tuck. That's just monster collabs. And I got a son that works for the most powerful financial firm in the world, BlackRock. That's my oldest king. The 3-year-old that was in the Wuhan video in '96, he's 30 years old now, bro.
Oh my God.
My oldest. This dude is different. My family is not regular.
Do you feel, Bus, we ain't seen nothing yet?
You definitely ain't seen shit yet. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, man.
Big bro, as you speak to me as my big brother, I'm gonna tell you something. You know me.
Yes, sir.
You're my brother. You're my friend. You've had conversations with me when you call my phone or when we get up wherever we at. Sometimes you get to hear the pain.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get to hear the low moments, the stressful moments, and you'll hear the happy, you'll hear the joy, you'll hear you'll hear the indifferent, good, bad, or indifferent. You hear everything. You protect me because you ain't one of those that might hear some shit that might be newsworthy and share that shit for no clickbait.
Right, bro.
You ain't never did that with none of us.
Yeah, man.
That's why I said earlier, we know that we in good hands with you. The culture is in good hands with you. And I'm saying all of this to say, with all of that you know, I don't think people have seen me smile as much as I've been smiling lately.
Right, bro.
I don't think there's another artist that you can say has had a run like mine between last year and this year, me running around with Chappelle, with Dave and Buster's, me running around with Wu and Nas on the Wu and Nas tour. I
Oh
thank those
my
brothers so much
God.
for being a part of being instrumental in my upswing. But I'm gonna tell you something. This year, starting from the Grammys, going to me selling out Carnegie Hall with the Earn Your Leisure brothers and Robert F. Smith, Google Chrome campaigns with Me and Little Yachty, smashing every festival, Something in the Water in Virginia, Strength of a Woman in Atlanta, Lovers and Friends in Vegas, 50 Cent tour.
Oh my God.
Come on for
bro.
that after 5 months. Get home on the 22nd of November after we do the last show on November 21st. Only have Thanksgiving Day off November 23rd. 24th, drop the Blockbuster album. Every single day it's nonstop.
Got to do it all again.
We just announced it 2-3 days ago. Headlining my own tour, the Blockbuster tour. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. This shit is so incredible. And I'm gonna tell you something, the two people that spoke to me the most in the last 2 years to help me realign my life in the way that I need to with the proper frequencies in the universe is my motherfucking brother Swiss Beats and Pharrell Williams.
Go ahead, brother.
Niggas was watching me do shit and stay complacent in certain situations and was definitely telling me, we can't sit by and watch you die.
Gotcha.
We not gonna watch that.
That's love, bro.
That's a different type of
And
love
it's
and
hard
respect.
to tell your brother that.
It's super hard because, you know.
It's hard to receive it too sometimes.
It is. But I'm gonna be honest, you know, with those brothers, they've been my good brothers for so long that sometimes when you really need to talk and you feel that discomfort, knowing that, you know, you can't trust motherfucker with just any of your information.
Right.
I knew that I was always in a safe place with my brothers whenever it came to just having that real conversation. And for a few months, just hearing me talk, watching certain shit that I was doing and how I was moving, they just came clean. Like, yo, you sure you ready to hear this truth? About you? This might have to go. That gotta go. This gotta go. This thing that you told us about that was going on in your house, that gotta go too. Don't matter. Got to go, my nigga.
Yeah.
You ain't got peace of mind in your own motherfucking crib.
That's real, bro.
Where you sleep.
Yep.
It's nothing to discuss.
We so used to taking care of others or looking out too, bro, that, and it sounds so simple when they say on a plane, secure your mask first.
Yeah.
You ain't good to nobody until you good to yourself.
That is a fact. And we love, and we know when we responsible for people, and we know that damn shit gonna change if we don't still be there for them. We don't want to see nobody. I don't want to see nobody suffer, bro.
Right.
I will suffer for them.
Yeah.
Before I watch them suffer, because I could figure out how to fix my suffering.
I'm pretty sure you jumped on grenades many a time.
Too many times.
Yeah, man.
But see, I done got to this point in my life where I'm just like, yo, you know something? I did everything my parents told me I needed to do, even when I didn't listen and I was misbehaving as a shorty. But I did what I was supposed to do for my parents. I listened, I lived for my parents. And I started having these kids. I live for my kids, man.
Now.
It's my turn. Let me live for me. Let me live for me. Let me live for me. And maybe, you know, as much living that I have done for all of y'all, why don't y'all just give me some of that shit that I had to do and sacrifice a little bit on y'all end for me now. Because what I'm doing anyway is gonna include all of y'all.
Yeah, man.
So y'all gonna get to enjoy it with me. We're gonna have a good time, and this happiness that I'm feeling and this joy that I'm feeling, bro, like it's making the experience for us as a family and in my business and in my personal space the happiest place I've ever been in my fucking life. When I tell you, big boy, I had 5 good days with my kids before that Lifetime Achievement Awards show ceremony with BET. I ain't never had that with all of my kids together since they was born.
Hey, bro, I think you gave so much to us and so much to many. Yeah, we got to get to ourselves, bro. And as you're talking to me too, because I do the same shit. I do the same shit. You know, you wear yourself tired, you wear yourself thin to go do stuff for everybody else. But yeah, 2024, we owe it to ourselves too.
We owe it to ourselves.
Bus, man, I appreciate you, bro. Off air, man, this was mandatory.
Yeah.
I could have did it at the station. We could have been ringing bells.
Yeah,
but I wanted to make sure that we had a chance to sit down and talk and build. And then sometimes, bro, we just see each other, and for a minute, we just be in each other's ear.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's so true, bro.
And separating, you'll give me something, and I'll just go to the crib like, bro, that's my motherfucking mans right there.
Forever, bro.
I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you too,
My
King.
first meeting with you, you probably don't even remember. I met you in New York.
Where, big bro?
I was the bodyguard for the Far Side.
You lying.
And you took us out, bro. And you treated us, kids from the West Coast, you treated us
wow.
the best. I'm talking about, dude, this is 1993.
Wow.
92.
And Far Side was my favorite group.
And you took us out. And I remember, man, they was like, man, I was like, well, I don't know about moving through, you know, because we got to get the dudes back home.
Right.
And there's like, oh, no, we were Busta Rhymes, we all together, so on and so forth. And I remember there was something else that they had told us, but I was like, all right, cool, we secure.
That shit is dope.
And it wasn't, man, A1 since day one.
Thank you,
And
King.
not knowing that over 30 years later, we'll still be sitting down doing this.
Ain't there some shit?
See how God works?
The
universe.
Greatest.
Man, I appreciate you, Bus.
I appreciate you beyond description, family.
There it is, man.
Love you, brother.